And we're live, people. Deluded. I'm back again. Happy Friday, folks. One love. If you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, smash the like button. As we know, it's the transfer window's open slash slot. The transfer window's open slash slot. Why do I keep saying slot? The transfer window is open slash shut slash open or whatever. Yeah, but anyways. Everything's dominated around the transfer news, isn't it, people? We go again. I played that smoothly. I'm even like Busquets. But yeah, man, there's nothing really. I know there's under 17s action just gone. The women's Euros is coming up. You got the under 19s kicking off today. The European under 19s Championship. The under 21s got going. You would have seen Wanyeri have a decent cameo off the bench in England, kick it off in winning ways. But let's be honest, whether you support Arsenal or whatever club, it's just the transfers. If you're Liverpool, you're happy as Larry around Florian Wirtz, and you're probably moving like a bit of X when you saw Trent Alexander-Arnold speak very good Spanish in his presentation for Real Madrid. Everybody's making movements but Arsenal, in it. Like, yeah, as you can see in the title, Gyokeres, Sesko, I'm sure we're all bored of it. There's, 1 minute they're signing, then they're not. One's having a bust up with the president of his current club. Sesko, no one knows what's going on, but it makes it interesting. And if nothing more, it provides us with decent talking points. So yeah, man, smash the like button, all that good stuff. Big up yourself, Machiavelli. What a name. It is what it is. Duolingo Trent was in full form in that presser. As I said, I respect it because you're moving to another country. It helps you integrate with your teammates and obviously your Spanish coach and obviously, people, in everyday life if he wants to fill up petrol. It also shows, if I was a Real Madrid fan, that, whether it works out for Trent or not, he's serious, really. Like, he's trying his best and it's heartfelt, in it. But I'm not going to lie, yeah, for my personal opinion, and it could just, footballers have a lot of free time. It's one of them games. Maybe he wanted to learn another language. The way he was speaking Spanish, I get it. He could have had a month of private tuition. That was someone that's been working on that for a while, maybe even over a year. Even when he said a comment, yeah, then he probably knew, what, feelings with Liverpool fans are still hot. He said something like, I've watched them win I grew up watching them win 3 Champions Leagues in a row or something like that. And then someone pointed towards Liverpool being one of them, apparently. And then he said something along the lines of, I've been waiting for this move for a while. Then he was like, to reiterate the last few weeks. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Friday never felt so good. Where's the raves at today, DG? I'm trying to get with me raving. What's that? Like, what's that? I want to know as well. The weather is nice, man. You're right. Is the weather nice in America? Marcel, when are you not drinking? Big up yourself, man. Our favorite nitty on the platform. He's still drunk off the Premier League title, man. Man, who cares about Trent? That's old news. Snakes will be snakes. Bun that slimy. I mean, I've offered my thoughts on Trent in it, but yeah, man, I can't tell you how to feel. Trent thought Liverpool won't win the league this season, so his escape could have been easier. Nah, I just think naturally, obviously, it's Liverpool's fault. You didn't get it tied up, and they won 2 of the 3 battles with Salah, Van Dijk, Trent. Probably Trent, in terms of longevity and what he means, probably one of them they would have kept the most, like, again. But then you look at it, Liverpool have just won the title. They're going to go again. It's probably easier to when you remove the sentiment and how quality Trent Alexander-Arnold is. Eventually, they're going to have to find a long-term replacement for Van Dijk. But Van Dijk's one of the if not the best centre-back in the Premier League in the world. So is Trent, but that's a lot hard to replace. It's very difficult. They're going to have to find a long-term Salah replacement in the aspects of trying to win now. Them two, and then Trent leaving. When you get away from sentiment, that's probably the easier one. Now, for Trent, you got to remember, man, the man's lived in England his whole life, come through Liverpool's academy, been a young boy to a teenager, to a young man, to a proper adult, come through the system. Liverpool's all he's known, so it can't have been an easy decision. Real Madrid's Real Madrid, I might not be the most viewed platform, but if you're here, you understand football at its deepest level, and we all support different clubs, if you're not an Arsenal fan, but we love football at its purest level. Real Madrid, when they come for you, you've got to go. It's another environment. It's not like he's got unfinished business at Liverpool, in the sense that if it was Saka leaving, like, let's just, God forbid, but Saka's contract's running out, at least he's won a bag of things at Liverpool, realised his potential, put himself in the conversations in relation to Premier League 11, Champions League, Premier League, all of that kind of stuff. So I can't begrudge him, man. And you want to challenge yourself and be out of your environment. And with what Real Madrid are doing in my lifetime, they're kind of doing the young player thing. You've got a former Liverpool man in Xabi Alonso. You've got your brethren, Jude Bellingham. Yeah, it just makes sense, man. I personally think Trent had no desire to sign a new contract, but it's Liverpool's fault. You don't let it's for all clubs. You can't let the contract run down. It's their fault. It shouldn't have got into this. I don't think it's down to money because I imagine Liverpool probably offered him a shitload more than Real Madrid, but it is what it is, and they're gonna call him a snake and slimy and whatever. But as long as you can go to bed when your career's done, thinking, yeah, I've achieved everything I wanted at Liverpool. I wanted to go to Real Madrid. I've done it. I've got no regrets. It is what it is, essentially, man. Wenger turned down Madrid. Vieira turned down Madrid. Henry turned down Madrid. Saliba turned down Madrid. Trent said yes. Not exactly true, though. And let's be honest, not to begrudge Wenger. I know Wenger was highly sought after. He had an affiliation, but definitely when them offers were coming during the Emirates era with, England national team, France national team, Madrid, as you said, let's be brutally honest. Wenger obviously had an attachment to Arsenal to see the job through. And also he knew he was in a unique position. There's no romance. There is romance, but there's no romance. He was everything connected with Arsenal. There were times that other clubs, and I'm not even slandering Wenger. You know what it means to me. There's that. Patrick Vieira eventually left, you are right, but I'm only 30. I remember all the time Vieira wanted new deals and he was flirting with Man United and all of them kind of things. Saliba, I don't know if he's turned down Madrid at this moment in time, but he will, in my opinion, play for them one day. So it is what it is. People are going to talk because the opposite end of it is Trent stays at Liverpool his whole career. He gets to 32, 31, 30, 31, 32, 33. He wants a 2-3 year deal. He says, do you know what? I've come through the academy. I've done stuff. Can I have a 2-3 year deal? Rightly or wrongly, they're saying it does not make sense to give you that. All you're going to get is thanks for the memories. And then they're on to the next one because once you retire, nobody cares. And yeah, you've achieved stuff with Liverpool. The very fact that you've become a professional footballer is a success story in itself. But no one cares. It's you that's going to have to live with the regret. This was said before Trent. It's going to be said long after Trent. It's going to be said long after me and you lot go, man. It is what it is, man. You're useful until you're useless, man. My picture looks good. I'm a good looking old. What's going on there? Big up yourself with that. I don't know what's going on there, man. He wanted to go link up with his mate Jude. Do you know what's funny, Marcel? Yeah, I remember you lot were saying Agent Bellingham, and you were right, just for the wrong team, man. They should have just sold him. It's on them. He made it clear time ago after not signing a new contract. Yeah, they should have sold him. Like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. The man's mind was made up. Clearly was going to run down his deal. Clearly Real Madrid have been in his ear for time, and he was always going to keep it moving. And if the Real Madrid thing went left, I personally think he would have signed a new deal at Liverpool. But lesser Trent, man. Big up everyone tuned in. Nah, I don't want Rodrigo. I don't want this Nusa brother. This is like getting Asics instead of night trainers you want for Christmas. To be fair, Asics are all the range now. I don't know for Nusa. I think he's a bad boy. Anyone that's been watching Norway, they've had a couple of good games at international level. We finally seen Odegaard turn up. I'm seeing the bromance with Haaland. Nusa's decent. I'd have him. I'm not going to lie, I would have him. Is he the game changer? I think you're moving. No, man, I want Rodrigo. Okay, I'm reading wrong. Of course, I want Rodrigo and them kind of guys, but I wouldn't say no to Nusa because at the end of the day, in an ideal world, you get me them players that I can see right now. Like when we signed Declan Rice, you can go on my vids. I said Timber as well, but you sign Declan Rice, regardless of how it pans out, immediate upgrade. You either do that where, I don't know if it's going to happen, but the Gyokereses, the Rodrigos, these kind of movie guys that we're linked with that would sell a lot of shirts. Then you have to do it the other way. As we're on the topic of Liverpool, you either spend the money and bet big on these players, like when Liverpool did it with Alisson and Van Dijk. That was the going rate. They had to pay it. Or you do what you've seen Newcastle do, where nobody was really gassing up Isaac when they bought him. They bought him. The rest is history. Everyone was saying Chelsea flopped for Salah. It's fair to say that worked out. Mane was there for the taking, in my opinion, at Southampton. Van Gaal tried to get him at United. Liverpool took a punt. It feels like a long time ago, but Ronaldo and Robertson from a relegated side, and you get the kind of point I'm going with. And suddenly you've got a decent squad. Manchester City, obviously, little's being said about the flop of a signing that's been Jack Grealish from a City perspective. Yes, he's won the treble, but the nucleus of City, I reckon not anyone, but Haaland was fairly attainable. But if you don't believe that, Gundogan was a very good player at Dortmund. It felt like anyone could have, quote unquote, got you. The same, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva at Monaco, Kevin De Bruyne, another one they said was a Chelsea flop. When you buy correctly and you get players that could upgrade, Marmoush as well. Like, I think Marmoush is a top quality player. I think Arsenal needed him a lot more than Manchester City. But you grab a Marmoush, you get a Gyökeres. Like, if you got Marmoush in January and you got Gyökeres now, suddenly, how you throw in Saka into the mix? How are we looking at our attacking three? There's no excuses whether you're going to do the big spender stuff, whether you're going to do the scouting. I need to see that my starting 11 feels better. I need to see that I have the squad. Again, that doesn't mean we're guaranteed to win anything, but at least you put your best foot forward. If we had the summer we want now, we should have had last summer. If we had the summer last summer and the season played out the same way, of course there'd be question marks and whatnot. But at least then I would entertain this whole unlucky and unprecedented injuries and all of these things. Obviously, injuries can happen, but you're paid to predict the future. I've said it before. We've seen what mass injuries can do to one team. We've also seen what it can do, what one injury can do. I wouldn't say the injuries to this scale, but I'm sure there was a time we were rocking up to games. Eddie and Ketty's up front, Tavares is left wing. I'm sure we beat Man United and we done something against Chelsea. So we've had enough lived experiences. We've had enough lived experiences. And prior to last season, how many times you see the gaffer say we've got one of the smaller squads and we need to upgrade? So whether it's down to Arteta, the recruitment staff, or everybody, which is me, you didn't put your best foot forward, innit? It's as simple as that. It is what it is. Smash the likes if you haven't already. Bro, Cherky, bro, Terence, Cherky would French, wavy. It just makes sense, man. It makes sense. But you know, bro, why? How? 30 million quid right there for the taking. We've all been gassing him. Why did we not go for it? I mean, it's neither here nor there, innit? It's done now. It is what it is. But them kind of signings, like, because if I'm Liverpool, I'm giggity over Verts. I actually, you know, I'm keen to see, no doubt, you know, what Cherky can do and Verts can do and the talking points that are going to follow. But we did, bro. Come on, man. Imagine we had Verts. I'm sorry, not Verts. Yeah, it'd be great. But Cherky and Marmoush, two signings that ain't going to break the bank. How much did Marmoush cost? Like 30, 40, 50 million quid. Cherky, 30 odd million quid. You ain't broken the bank and you've already upgraded your starting 11/squad. I don't know, man. Not sure if this has been asked before, but how do you feel about Kiwior Edwards leaving Arsenal? Listen, big up Kiwior Edwards and Nathan Butler-Adeji and all of them young players. Big up Amari Hutchinson for England's under 21s. All them young players that did interviews with me during lockdown, you can find that on my channel. We'll always wish them the best. But realistically, you know, Kiwior Edwards has gone on loan before. He's of an age where you need to play. Obviously, rightly or wrongly, you know, we've been talking about Arsenal's striker thing, right? And we've seen Marino up there, Havertz there, up there. There's been injuries. You never got to look in. You're at the age you need to go and play. You know, again, like you, Nathan Butler-Adeji, a bunch of the players that got released. Sego Jr., in my opinion, needs to get out of there. Cabba as well. Obviously, they might hold on to a couple names. So the under 21s is competitive and you never know. Arteta might just... You might be a 20-year-old never playing in the under 21s. By coincidence, the first team is short of numbers in training. You go over there, you bad it up. Arteta might take a shine to you or any manager and you keep it moving. But away from that, you need to go play football, bro. It's not going to happen here, is it? Like, you're in that weird stage where you're not going to looking in. And this happens a lot. You're not going to looking in the first team. You're better than the under 21s. So you're in that kind of half house. You need to cut, bro. So we wish them all the best. You need to go and get football, man. 75 million. Who? Bro, you are waffling. No one can predict the future apart from God. You reckon? You know, we all praise the high and mighty, but I didn't try to predict the future. I don't know what you're talking about. But you see, when you're talking common, you're not talking any common sense. You're just typing in caps. And bro is spelled all fugazi. I don't know, man. But if I'm waffling, you need to keep it moving, man. Hand of Arsenal. That ain't the real hand of Arsenal, but nonetheless, big up the Arsenal community. If Real Madrid know what they're doing, they'll sell Rodrigo. Franco is the future and will take over from him during the season anyways. I mean, do you not want a competitive squad? How much budget does Arsenal have left? You got to ask someone that works for Arsenal, man. I don't think Kiwior is going anywhere. I don't want him to go nowhere, but I could understand if Kiwior says, you know what, I've played in Italy before. AC Milan's a big club. They're in a bit of a rebuild. Want to get more game time. Again, Kiwior, maybe Mikel Arteta. If there's one thing Arteta's learned this season, is probably to be a bit flexible across all aspects, you know, whether that's changing the system, changing things in game, and maybe being a bit cute and clever with how you utilize the squad and resting people. So maybe if you're Kiwior, you're thinking, raw, maybe the manager's seen why you need to rest players. There's been a couple of injuries. Maybe if you're Kiwior, you're feeling, you know what, I'm finally playing in my position. I've done well against Real Madrid, which regardless of what you have to say, it's not an easy feat. I'm arrived now. Or maybe Kiwior's remembered, yeah, I'm actually a decent player. I'm probably going to be on the bench again. Now, we're skipping ahead a bit, but Gabriel Magalhães has, I think, done an interview in his homeland in Brazil, and he's spoken about how he was scheduled to be out for 3 months, and it's been 2 months already, and he said he'll be back for pre-season. Common sense, obviously, big up Gabriel Magalhães for signing a new deal. naturally, and I don't know for Saliba's rehab, mind you, but you would imagine if Gabriel Magalhaes is fit, you're going to start the season. So it's back to type for Kiwior, really. You know, as this has probably been Kiwior's best stage as an Arsenal player, but it's still on brand with when Kiwior gets his chances, which there's injuries, you get your run in the team. Kiwior definitely wouldn't be the first through the door for me. He definitely, I think there's more pressing needs and whatnot. I wouldn't force him out. I think he's a good squad player, but it's one where if Kiwior, if you are Arteta, bangs on the door, you can only say fair enough in it. It's time to keep it moving, really. Like if the man wants to play, he wants to go play. And where you look at it, it's all fun and games. As I just said there, I don't think Kiwior is the first one I would sell, but it's all fun and games saying, get rid of this one, get rid of that one, get rid of the third, whether they're on high wages, not fit, or don't have a market. Now, I don't work in football, but it feels like Kiwior, interest in Kiwior, even prior to this running, the team's never gone away. So you never know what that might do for us financially. And also, if you're Kiwior, again, jumping ahead a bit, you know, we tried to sign, again, let's not get caught up on left-sided centre-half and right-sided centre-half and just look at the depth, right? Collectively, as a fan base, of course I want strong depth. But if you're Kiwior, considering everything I've just said, the club allegedly, like Mark Gurhey, whether Gurhey wants to sign and thinks he can get first team football is another thing, but we're monitoring that. We're re-linked with Jarell Hatto to the point where conversations apparently are going on, right? We did not get Howson. He's gone to Madrid, but again, another defender. We did not get in January Viktor, but we saw the Athletic say we're onto him and we like him. So that's 4 defenders, right, that can play centre-half, give or take. Does it make sense for you to stay necessarily? And I also don't know if things didn't play out. I'm not saying he wouldn't, and he's obviously upped himself in the levels, but had everybody have been fit, like all our defenders were fit, and let's just assume Gabriel Magalhaes was injured, but everybody's fit, I don't know if Mikel Arteta, before he considers Kiwior as an option, puts, I don't know, moves Ben White over there, puts Timber there, puts Tomiyasu again, as I said, if fit, plays Calafiori. And then if you imagine we did have that other centre-back like in January, where does that place Kiwior? The only prospect, ironically, it feels like there's an opening at left-back because it's just really Miles Lewis-Skelly, and obviously there's others. So there's a lot for Donny to consider. And I wouldn't begrudge Kiwior if he says, do you know what, fair play, I've tried the thing. I need to go in it, really and truly. Wenger turned down players like Mane to keep faith in Walcott. Konate learning Spanish too. He stinks of Paris Saint-Germain, if I'm honest with you. Nusa is decent, but Rodrigo, man, I just see a meaty window with loans like Sancho and Liverpool strengthened after the EPL trophy. City are working to be back. We are bluffing with the signings. We want to go for Nusa because we couldn't get Napan. I don't see the correlation there, but I hear it, man. Hyper, one love, my killie. As Ryan has said, smash the like button. Big up my mods because you're always here supporting, man. All of you. Fire, love Arsenal, hate the ops. I think he's got the best name out of all the users, to be fair with you. Everybody is so hyped about Sesko and Gyokeres. At the end, both will start on the bench and Havertz will start. Brother, all he needs to do, all he needs to do is get over the line. I don't care how you do it, get over the line. It is what it is. Bro, you said the club is paid to predict the future in context to injuries. Come on, DG. Are you a dickhead? Of course they are. Am I a prick? Like, of course they are. So you mean to tell me they're not... Wait, what? Do you know what? God, please. It's a nice Friday. Do I even get into this? Or are we going to be intentionally dense and be silly? Of course, they can't expect injuries to be to this scale. They can't expect Gabriel Jesus, to get injured again in the FA Cup. Let's not be obtuse. They are paid to predict these things. You know, Mikel Arteta has said 4 times prior to this season that's just gone, we've got one of the smallest squads. He's been speaking about that. So we clearly know about that. It's common sense. The games at club and country for half of these players are expanding, and we've got a small squad. Of course, they're there to do that. They're paid to predict injuries or prevent that. They're paid to predict trying to find future stars. Why the fuck would they be scouting? Even down to the point with Mikel Arteta. What CV did Mikel Arteta have to us football fans? Of course, they're paid to predict. They're not fortune tellers. They're going to get it wrong. But have they put the best foot forward? Then what the hell are they doing? That's naive. Of course, they're paid to predict injuries. Or if they're not paid to predict injuries, consider the fact that there's a certain landing we have to fall on. We've got a squad of probably 13, 14. There's 38 games in the Premier League alone. Before we talk about if you go all the way in the FA Cup and all the others, are we being stupid? Are we being stupid? By all means, disagree, but please don't be disrespectful, because if you be disrespectful, I'll throw it right back at you. Why? What are we talking about? Of course, they're paid to predict injuries. The fuck? Even going into this season, we said when everybody's fit, we have one of the smallest squads. And when you really fine-tune our squad, How many of these players, quote unquote, is it predictable with injuries? Arteta even said, as I mentioned in Mikel Arteta, didn't even say there's a couple of players that entered this season into the red zone. Is it any coincidence we had 3-4 hamstring injuries? I'm not criticizing them. This is a fact. Is it any coincidence that we had 3-4 hamstring injuries? And then when you look at the squad and assume everybody's fit, you know Tommy's going to go missing. You know Zinni's going to pick up knocks. You know we was probably, unfortunately, going to have to see Saka having that. We can agree to disagree, but don't tell me not to be rude if you're going to be rude. I don't need your love. I don't need your love. But anyways, they are. But ignorance is bliss anyways, man. When do you think we'll find out about Sesko and Gyokeres' situation? For me, I'm more than happy to speak about it with you lot, but at the end of the day, until players and people, sorry, just making a timestamp, until people are holding shirts and we see concrete evidence of medicals, it's a myth. Oh, fair enough. My mush wasn't cheap. Fair enough, but 70 million well spent. 22 ain't young. If Partey goes, it's Partey's birthday, by the way. If Partey goes, Rice can play 6, Havertz 8, and we can sign both Sesko and Gyokeres. Havertz in midfield. Oh. So then by that means, if nobody, and even that, if nobody can predict anything, why would we sign players then? What's the point signing Gyokeres or Sesko? What's the point Arsenal scouting Sesko for years? Whether it works or not, oh, they can't predict he's going to score enough goals. The same goes with Gyokeres. Football is about predicting. It don't mean you're a fortune teller. It's a law of averages. Why do you think Arteta, or whatever they say, we've been so good against the top 6 sides and we've been so good defensively, and they talk about micromanagement? Because he predicts the opposition, he studies the opposition, he predicts what they're going to do. In fact, in this day and age where there's very little, what's the word, like randomness in football, it is a law of averages. Are we being stupid or obtuse or both? You really can't teach stupid. Don't tell me about being rude when you're typing like that, bro. If you want to have a conversation, have a conversation. Don't be rude. Anyways, who was the top goal scorer in the championship this season? Now, you're going to have to Google that, my boy. Big up DG and Buemo considering Spurs now. Frank is the manager after beating United in the final. Imagine them getting Mbuemo of United. It would be Fugazi, because then clearly you would probably, well, I don't know, but you might probably earn more wages at Man United. You might earn more wages at Man United. You would stay in London, and obviously Spurs, at least for a year, have Champions League football when you do know the manager. But then it raises in question, like, why would you pick Spurs over that? Like, you seemed adamant to go to Man United. I don't know, man. Even though he's a little questionable, might be racist. What? I ain't accusing. No. Noah Lang is a solid winger. Seems we stay clear of people with character issue, which is fair. I don't know about all of that stuff. I don't really rate Noah Lang like that. He's decent, though. Exactly. Physio, sports scientists, doctors are all paid to predict injuries. What the hell is going on? Or at least combat against it. Fair enough. Ignorance is bliss. You can't teach stupid. Would you take Eze over a more traditional winger? We need more players who are able to get through low and mid blocks. I'm having Eze tomorrow, but I think the club like him. I just, how much do you like him enough to place bids? And then obviously, if you get Sesko or Gyokeres, you're looking at conservatively 60 million, maybe all the way to 70, 80. The reports fluctuate. There's that. Fair enough. You have to, we're paying a bit more for Zubamendi. We're not activating his release clause, but that's another 50 odd million over there. If you want Joel Hatto, you're looking at 30, 40. You're committing 5 million for Kepa. And I'm sure there's other things Arteta wants to do. How much do they want Eze? Like, how much of the budget is left alone? I'd bring Eze tomorrow. Who would you prefer, Sesko or Gyokeres? I actually like both, I think they've both got qualities. I'm quite excited about if we do sign Sesko. Equally, I'd be gassed if we sign Gyokeres. I'd prefer Gyokeres at this moment in time, because we might sign Gyokeres and he's amazing, and Sesko goes on and does what he's projected to be, and we might think, what if? But just for me, it would, I mean, who am I? I'm just a fan, but it would be something a bit different. Like, it's someone that's here right now. Like, you're 27, you can play for a number of years, but there's like, what we kind of see is what we kind of get. You're ready right now. You know your job right now. It is what it is, kind of thing. So it would be that, but I'd be happy with either. Again, no, there's a reality where you get one. There's a dream reality where you get both. There's a worst case scenario where you get neither. And then, the Ollie Watkins and the Hugo Ekitike's who's being aggressively linked with Man United, thrown into things. Thoughts on Chido, Obi, now that United are looking for more gunmen up front? Well, at the end of the day, well, I don't know if you would have. On one hand, I do think if you stayed, you might have got some game time, especially with what Wanyeri and Miles Lewis Skelly's doing. But at the end of the day, that's all predictable. You went to Man United and you've played first team football in it, and you've been about. You probably earned a lot of money. It's a big club. I'm sure they sold you a ticket as well. I'm sure when he signed, Ruud van Nistelrooy was there. You'd imagine he'd have done things. It's the reality of a big club, innit? If Chido Martin's good enough, you'll get an opportunity. But it's Man United. There's immediate pressure. You know, they assuming they get Cunha and Embuemo. Obviously, I don't know how long they're going to be there, if they're going to be there, but Xerxes is still there. What's the other one? Højlund, as shit as he is still there. They're all ahead of you, and there's scope of bringing in another forward. This is a reality. I mean, he's 17, 18, maybe a loan, maybe not so much the next season, but a loan has to be dependent on if he's able to force his way into the program or things at Man United. A loan has to be something that is considered. We've got 84 likes. How we not got 100, man? Come on, folks. Big up to you lot who have hit the like button. Come on, man. Come on, come on. Come on, man. What's going on? Imagine Garnacho or Watkins as the transfer window complete. Don't upset me, man. My missus' boyfriend. Wait, what? Best friend or boyfriend? I don't know, but my Mrs. BF met with Berta outside the Emirates, who said we're getting a striker, left winger, and CDM. When he pressed for names, Berta said Higuain, Draxler, and VR will also bid for Vardy. Right, nice to see you got a sense of humor. One of my problems with Arteta is his transfers. He's slow with his transfers and sometimes does not get the right players. To be fair, not any manager that gets no manager can say that everyone they've signed has worked. It's like if you went to an investment banker and they told you not a single investment they've made has gone south. You're going to be looking like, hang on. And to be fair to the gaffer, yeah, obviously, that's previously Edu's job where it came out, you know, people criticize Edu. Edu's the reason we got Magalhaes over the line because it looked like he was going to go somewhere else if you watch his interview. But it's down to now Berta and Edu to get things over the line. As a club, maybe we're moving slow. I don't think people come into this club generally into the first team for certain fees without Arteta. I think the bigger thing you're saying, not necessarily transfers, is the talent ID. Because there's been a lot of hits. There's also been a lot of misses. And in the last 3 years, as we've now crossed into that, we're trying to win big trophies. You have to be harsher. Like, for me, we need to get, this team needs what Arsenal needs, not what people want necessarily. Like, the striker has to score goals no matter how you shape it. I'm very well versed on the fact that he's got to drop deep, he's got to work the channels, press and all of that stuff. They need to be a killer in it. Like, they need to be able to score goals. There's no more of that other stuff. You need a winger who is an upgrade on what we have. We know what needs to be done. And if we don't do it, we all know the reality that awaits us, in it. Unfortunately, like, it is what it is. No one asked for Kiwior, Tavares, Lokonga. It's not true. Big clubs pay big wages. Go check the wage bill of Arsenal and compare it to other top clubs' wages. You lot should stop falling for the crap that Arsenal's wage bill is a mess. Sources in Portugal confirm that Arsenal haven't had a bid yet. Nobody talking about Mateta. Hopefully, Man United are distracting everyone with other strikers. Mateta, I wonder what's going on with Mateta, man. If you're Glasner, you're saying, bro, at least one more season. At the very least, one more season, man. People were looking at you like a joke when I came through. You're moving mad. Bigger teams want you. Give me one more season now. For Mateta now, you've had a great season at Crystal Palace. If you stay, you will be playing Europa League. Glasner's done his thing, but there's a World Cup. You never know. A team like Man United, regardless of how it pans out for Man United collectively, if you do your job, it is what it is. Let's be honest. There is an element of bias. You play for bigger teams, suddenly, yeah, you know, like, obviously the bigger team you play for, the bigger the platform. But you look at Elise. Could you argue Elise should have been getting French call-ups and whatnot? He's been at Bayern and doing well. Been at Bayern for 5 minutes. Suddenly, you're in that realm. So it'd be interesting to see what's going on, man. Arsenal's wage bill is not even in the top 5 in Europe. Some players already leaving, reducing the wage bill. There's still a lot. I hear you. There's still a lot of work to be done, though. I'm not going to lie, because I do think Edu and Arteta inherited a mess. Kind of patterned it. I wasn't a fan of ripping up contracts, but it is what it is. And then I think it's a mixture of things. Some of the signings ain't worked out. There's been an evolution. Certain players that were brought in to be the guys, obviously with Jesus and Zinchenko, he's left them. It's gone back into a mess, if that makes sense. So I do think there is I don't know if it has to be a priority for Berta, because naturally it's all intertwined. But I do think there is an element of Berta when he signed that, pattern up the wages. And we're going to have to be conscious of that. Obviously, Tierney's left. That's 100 grand off the wage bill. Jorginho was probably on something decent. No clue what's going on with Partey. Obviously, Magalhaes has committed his future. We hope the star players commit their futures, and even young Wanyeri and Lewis Skelly, they're going to get little bumpers in their thingies. Jesus and Havertz, obviously, it's a bit harsh grouping Havertz in with that, but he's on big money. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus, big money. Zinchenko probably leaves. That helps us out. I'd imagine Zubamendi's going to be on something decent. I would say, well, Sesko as well, to be fair, because it's an important move, but more so Gyökeres, they're going to be on something decent. If you were to get Nico Williams, what is one thing we consistently see with Nico Williams rumors, whether it's to Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Newcastle, Chelsea, insert any club I've missed out here, yeah, the wages. Everybody says, oh, you know what, the release clause 50 odd million, that ain't bad. You're seeing 200, 300k, etc., etc. Everyone is in agreement that Isaac is the dream striker signing. It is, but the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. We can dream about that until we're blue in the face. I can dream about going on a date with Shenseer until I'm blue in the face. Reality is, it's not going to happen. In fact, never say never. Let's get to 70k, 100k. We get into rooms. Never say never. Talk it to existence. But you get the point. Isaac would be my dream striker. But reality is, unless we wake up and he makes it clear, I want to leave Newcastle, it ain't happening, is it? Why then are we not going for Osimhen? Honestly, I don't know, because I don't know with Osimhen. Maybe people see it's too expensive, whether it's his wages, the transfer fee, what the agent wants. I can't imagine this, but maybe the teams just aren't convinced on. It sounds mad, but maybe the teams are just not convinced on Osimhen. And you lot know me, I hate to do the whole. I don't think he's got attitude problems. I don't know Donny, but the attitude stuff always gets thrown around. I don't know. It's things like that where you wish he was a fly on the wall. Even Gyökeres to a degree, man, because as much as I think he's going to be a success, I think I've seen enough. I'm not saying he's going to score mad goals, but I see enough over 90 minutes. Goals are one thing, all the others. You have to wonder, like 26, 27 years of age. I know there's a bit of isms and schisms, but, you know, the release clause, they've made an agreement. Well, they've said they'll sell him for lower. You can't ignore the goal scoring record. Why is something not happening? It's a bit like Ivan Toney. Again, Ivan Toney, for anyone that would put a mic in front of his face when he was at Brentford, he wanted to go. Like, he would say, I want to do this, I want to do that. And at the time, I think United were linked with him, Arsenal were linked with him, Spurs were linked with him, Chelsea were linked with him, and various degrees. But everyone could be like, you know what, we could do with him, you know. He ultimately ended up in Saudi, in which he's earned a shitload amount of money. But it's one where you wish he was working in the world of football, or if he was a fly on the wall. Because again, in the world of football, them lot know what's going on with Gyökeres, whether that's the team he's going to sign for, how Sporting are going on. Football's a small world. You know, Arsenal might not be signing Gyökeres, and Sesko might be the one. They're probably well aware of what's going on there, and vice versa for other teams. It's all interlinked, and that, man. Barca wants Bacola, but any Bacola links are quashed by the fact that PSG want to keep him. Obviously, with the contract, you never know. Sesko and Gyökeres better than Osimhen. He fell off moment he went Turkey. To be fair, he's been bagging. Nusa is the worst winger in the Bundesliga. To be fair, though, how many men have flopped and done well elsewhere? The wage bill is a mess. Zinni came in on 20. We put him on 150. Calafiori was getting 12k a week and gets put on 120k DG. This Edu's fault. Yeah, this is where you want Berta to be a bit wiser. Obviously, logically speaking, if you're going to go to one of the biggest clubs in the world and in England, you're going to get a bumper wage uplift. But negotiation, because that obviously affects our ability to flog people. I'm not saying Zinchenko's like this, yeah, but I do think fans, it's all fun and for a variety of reasons. We're not going to let 10 players go and bring in 10 players. Just because you don't like a player don't mean they're going to leave. It's all fun and games saying sell Martinelli, sell Gabriel Jesus, sell Kai Havertz, sell this one, sell that one. And obviously there's contracts, there's their position in the team, there's the wages. It's easier said than done. Maybe it's the fact that they're not fit. Maybe it's due to wages. Maybe there's just not market interest. Maybe clubs are interested in these players, but they're on big wages. And you're relying on the players' ability to leave. As much as I try and tailor this in the right way, because people need to understand this is real life. I'm not saying Zinchenko doesn't want to leave. I think he does because he wants to play. I don't think this is necessarily relevant, but the man's been an Arsenal fan, clearly rated to some degree with Mikel Arteta, got a wealth of experience, might feel kind of what I said about Kiwior, I can wrestle my place back in the team kind of thing, or at least there's rotation. My kid and my wife are happy here. I'm on big wages in which where you consider his age in the Premier League, I might not get elsewhere. If I see out my contract, I'm going to get my loyalty bonus. The club have to want to move me on because I could also stay for another year, leave for free, and that opens up my market. It's comfy. So that's where we need Berta. Obviously, you're gonna fuck up sometimes, but that's where you need Berta to do a lot of other stuff, man. Stop watching the man. Their money. There's obviously a wage structure. I hear it. Although I agree with the fact we need another midfielder on top of Zubamendi, do you think Miles Lewis-Skelly could fulfill that need? I think he could play in midfield. I want to see him exposed to midfield. But then I look at it, yeah, and I say, if Miles Lewis-Skelly was seen as a central midfielder that could play at left back, would he play as much? Because at the end of the day, if Partey stays, Zubamendi comes in, you've got Declan Rice as the 8, you've got Odegaard. I'm not sure. I'd love to see him exposed in midfield. I know technically you're in midfield anyways and all that jazz, but it'd be nice to see, ironically, Miles Lewis-Skelly on the left, Rice on the right-hand side. And I think Arteta's got to keep that in mind. They are only overpriced due to how much money the Premier League makes. No other leagues get extorted like the PL, but it's because of the massive revenue that comes in every year. PL is marketed globally. We live in a day and age, and no disrespect to Bournemouth or AC Milan, I'm seeing Bournemouth go toe-to-toe in terms of bids, like with Zanoli or whatever, with AC Milan. If you asked me that in the early 2000s, I'd have said you're smoking something special, man. But it is what it is, man. Do you think we should get an established striker and an upcoming striker? We haven't got any strikers from the academy. That would be lovely. I would love 2 strikers and a left winger, but I feel like that's dream chasing. Nusa and Lookman left wing. We have the deal. If Rodrigo doesn't happen, nice effort, DG. To be honest, I'd prefer Lookman over Nusa, but I like Nusa. You never know. I know he looks a bit of he looks rubbed at this moment, but I do like him. He hasn't been setting the world alight at Leipzig. And ironically, we might have a different opinion because wasn't he close to signing for Spurs once, which we would have had to call him shit. I like Nusa though, man. I watched the highlights for Norway. He looked very good. I'd prefer Lookman though, man. He's a bit more established. He's had good and bad moments in his career. He's arriving back to, I know he plays for Nigeria at international level and he's of Nigerian heritage, but he comes back to quote unquote his birthland, you know, twice the player he was when he left. And it's a bit like Gyokeres, you know. Gyokeres has had good and bad moments in his career. Lookman the same. I think that can help you, if I'm honest with you. Big up, DG. Love listening to the stream. You are way more balanced than most Arsenal fan channels. I appreciate that. You're either deluded, not so deluded. You get called something all the time, man. But I appreciate that. As long as they're talking, Arsenal need Nusa. Next season, Arsenal will lose Saka and Saliba. I hope not, man. But I'm not being funny, bro. I've seen Thierry Henry leave, man. Like, from I saw Patrick Vieira as well. To be honest with you, from I saw Thierry Henry leave this football club, I don't really feel I've got a heart for ballers like that anymore because that was everything to me. And also Patrick Vieira. And then I saw Bergkamp retire. And the little kind of thing I had there, I would actually say is when Wenger called it a day. So it is what it is. This is football, man. It is what it is. Martinelli plays like a robot and doesn't make good decisions. Trossard can finish but isn't athletic. We need someone who's dynamic and is a better decision maker. That's why you have to spend. Have to, man. And I don't agree to the notion Trossard's crap. And I do think fans can be hypocritical. Obviously, we hear rumors around Trossard signing a new deal. We hear rumors about he's going. Truthfully, we don't know. But you can't say on one hand, we need a bigger squad. We need a bigger squad. And then you're talking about bringing players in and you want to sell everybody. Because some Arsenal fans, and I'm not saying they're wrong in isolation with these players, but to a lot of Arsenal fans, Kai Havertz has got to go. Martin Odegaard has got to go. Martinelli has got to go. Trossard's got to go. Tomiyasu's got to go. Gabriel Jesus has got to go. You know, some would say, you know what, Partey, leave the club. That's another one. We know Tini and Jorginho are cutting. Fabio Vieira's got to go. Nelson's got to go. Now, obviously, I'm conflating all the players. Some need to go a lot more than others. Some, you know, have shown good and bad moments at the club. But you can't say get rid of all of these guys and then sit here and say, oh, we need depth. We haven't got enough bodies. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's not making sense to me. It is not making sense. Get out of the FIFA mentality. I'm not saying you're wrong in theory. I wish we lived in a day and age where every player we've got any concerns about at this football club, you know, which probably about 10, if I'm completely honest with you. If 10 could come out and 2 new 10 players that are ballers come in, great. That's not how the cookie crumbles. Because then even if that happens, then what's going to happen? You lot are also saying this win now mode, this win now mode, this win now mode. And it still could be that. It's win now, win now. But then what's going to happen? Oh, they need time to gel, get into the system and all of this. For me, it's not making sense. When you actually sit there and think, it's not making sense. As I always say on this platform, you're not necessarily wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not telling you what to think. Just think. Why is everything going to be white and black? Arsenal pay their players too much, and that's the reason they can spend the way they want. Look at the top 6. You would see Arsenal pay their players way too much. I'm not sure what you're saying there, my guy, but you don't know. Did you see Wanyeri's cameo in the under-21s? Yep. And I hope we do see a lot more of him, man. Noah Lang is average. Same with Nusa. Please, we don't need them. Martinelli and Trossard are better. I'd rather Nusa over Noah Lang. I'm not a fan of Noah Lang, I must admit. DG, do you think, man, you might sell Fernandez for the right price? Them man do need the bread. Well, they had the opportunity and it seemed like they were on it. He said no. And unless it's another Saudi club, I can't see them getting that. Would you say Havertz has played a big part on the issues we have now, left eight and striker? Yes and no, because I actually feel Kai Havertz has pulled his weight and has shown a lot more consistency than a lot more of his teammates, and he's done well up front. And beyond Bukayo Saka, since Kai Havertz been here, who's probably the second half of the second half of the year we missed out by City, and actually just goals, Kai Havertz pulls his part. Now that's testament to Kai Havertz. That's pretty damning on the club if I am saying that about Kai Havertz. I don't think Kai has done that because he didn't put a gun to no one's head to sign him for these wages. And yes, he's a Champions League winner at Chelsea, but his stock is really higher. For us as a club, yes, there's no way of shaping it. Kai has probably worked out a bit better than we thought, but at the end of the day, we failed upwards with the striker thing. He was meant to play in midfield. It's probably created a conundrum of what we're going to do because of his wages and the price tag. And Arteta probably still has to play him. And I just feel, rightly or wrongly, Arteta likes to play. We all keep hearing he's fond of his versatility, how he is tactically. If he is still in the starting 11, then Arteta's going to have to hold that. And I'm not criticizing Kai. I think I speak for most honest and balanced Arsenal fans. If your form is out of this, like a lot of us, want a left winger and whatnot, and we want a striker, for argument's sake, let's just say Kai Havertz is playing out of his skin up front. He's bagging every week. The left winger is bagging and doing stuff. I think Kai Havertz, like we want a striker and a winger, right? Let's just say we signed them, but Kai Havertz is doing his thing up front, and I don't know, Trossard or Martinelli are still doing their thing on left wing, and they're playing out of their skin. Most Arsenal fans will say, fair enough, you can't lose your spot. You're doing well. But at the same time, we need upgrades, bro. We need upgrades. At the end of the day, this is why I think you can't do the damsel in distress thing with Arteta, because you have had peas, bro. I don't think Arteta can be... I don't think there's enough balance. I think either Arteta is blamed for every damn thing, which is not true, or he's absolved of all criticism. You can't have it both ways. It don't make sense. I love transfers, but boy, do I hate what goes with it. Next time, let the chair speak to the people like that. All the names you just mentioned should be sold. Fair play. Big up DG and Buemo considering Spurs now. Thomas Frank is the manager. Boy, it's dark if it's dark. United have already been kicked. And I'd rather Buemo go United if it came to it. I don't want to call it Buemo rubbish, but Buemo's a good signing for Spurs if that happens, man. Him, Kulusevski, it's a step in the right direction, ain't it, really and truly? Something tells me Gabby would thrive at a different shirt. Who the hell is Nusa? Getting left behind again, looking for bargains. Have had a whole season to look at what we need. Now we're effing around. Boy, Due is better than Nusa. Sack that manager. I'd love Due, but really? We'll look at the rumours in a bit, man. I'm enjoying you lot's conversation, man. The only annoying thing I would say is I keep having to change the timestamps, man. Appreciate you lot, because without you lot, the platform's dead. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We've got 126 likes. Can we get to 200? Can we? Big up the people them who have hit their likes, man. Appreciate you. Also, as well, shameless plug. 2 shameless plugs, man. I did a interview yesterday, or it came out yesterday, with the first professional substitution coach, and we touched on Arsenal. So go and check that out. After 6 p.m, I'm going to have Aaron and a couple of Arsenal fans. We're going to have a bit of a show. I guess we'll piggyback off what we're talking about at this moment in time. But honestly, chance for me to shut up and hear different perspectives. So yeah, man. And I'm in the process of, it's taking time, man, because YouTube keep copyrighting some of the footage, but I'm trying to do them little edited videos, try and give you lot food for thought with Sesko and Zubamendi. It's taking time, but we're here, innit? Committed to you lot. So yeah, smash the like button. It don't cost a thing, man. What's a substitution coach? Watch the video and find out, Jenna. Watch the video and find out, my guy. Let me get the link. Watch the video and find out. It's kind of slightly self-explanatory. Substitution coach. I don't know, though. I don't know. But yeah, big up Sammy Lauder for that one there. So yeah, man. Even if you're not going to watch it, smash the likes, man. It helps the algorithm and that. Havertz wasn't going to score any important goals. He has, though. This injury, Havertz, it is just the worst. Now the fan base are going to gaslight themselves on the player. We shouldn't have bought Kai. If we're serious, Kai, like, if we just draw out our strongest 11, yeah, give or take. Now with Marino's form, we'll probably change things, yeah. But give or take, forget injuries, forget all that stuff. Let's just say our strongest 11, many Arsenal fans. Definitely David Raya, 100% Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba. Some might say Ben White over Timber. No problems there. I'm going to say Timber. Might be something different, but I'm going to say Miles Lewis-Skelly. I'm going to go with Partey, Rice, and Martin Odegaard. Saka on the right. You could say Marino up front with what you've seen. You could say Kai Havertz. For the purpose of this, I'm going to say Kai Havertz. You can say Trossard or Martinelli, whichever one has you. Because I'm biased towards Brazilians, I'm going to say Martinelli. Now we're looking at that starting 11, yeah? Where's the possible places to upgrade? Maybe not necessarily because of ability, but long-termism, Partey's role. You know, potentially someone that can really fight Martin Odegaard. But would I say they're the most important needs? Maybe even another outlet at left-back to allow competition for Miles Lewis-Skelly. Those are all isms and schisms. You look at the front three. You clearly need an upgrade up front. You clearly need an upgrade on the left wing. Difficult decisions have to be made and must be made. It is what it is, man. Your problem is that you want an all-English team. If you're not English, you have to go. Okay. Genuinely confused with that one, but okay. Fair enough, lad. The club are so irresponsible selling players. You have to pocket watch them. To be fair, we have to get better at selling, man. Big up yourself, Brush. Large up DG. Nusa has potential still. Could be a good rotation option with Martinelli. I hear it. But again, maybe it's my own frustration. And there are some exceptions to the rule, but I don't really want another development done. If I'm honest with you, left wing, I don't want to persist with Martinelli, have this next guy that's going to frustrate me and then not frustrate me week in, week out. I like Trossard, but he has that. Then you got three man that obviously they could all share the burden, but like none really, you don't really have conviction or convinced. I want someone that at least is going to do, if we're really in win now mode, and I don't know who that player is. Ideal world, they're better than Saka on the left-hand side, or they match Saka at the very least. That's not going to happen. So can we get someone that even matches 50% of the outlook? Output, apologies. I don't know, man. Because we need players we can bet on, and the goals win games, in it. Like our weakest unit, if you break down the defensive unit and throw the goalies in there, the midfield unit and up front, bro, it's the strikers. Really and truly, Marino and Kai Havertz are accidental forwards. Zinni wasn't on 20k before Arsenal stopped lying. So we're signing Nusa Ball. I've been speaking about him. This is another duet and coming better than the Napalm player. Boy. Although I agree with the fact that we need another midfielder on top of Zubimendi, do you think Miles Lewis-Skelly could fulfill that? I could, but I don't know how Arteta sees him. And to be fair, if you're Lewis-Skelly, you just want to play. I'm sure if you ask Miles Lewis-Skelly in his heart, he wants to play midfield. But end of the day, brother, if you didn't lock down left back and show your ability, you might not be where you're at. And you just look at Saka. Saka had to cut his teeth playing left back. Where does he play now? I don't think Rodrigo's leaving, but the dream is free. The Arsenal is sold separately, man. That Nusa is actually a baller, I can't lie, but project player. Nusa's an average footballer. You see the beautiful thing about opinions? It's crazy, man. I think we need two wingers. We're dreaming, though, man. Arsenal had the most long-term injuries out of any club who made 60% of our goals and assists last season. Read to understand rather than rant and criticize. You was being quite disrespectful. Mikel can't predict that, dude. Mikel Arteta is not a physio. I said the club. So then you're not listening. If you're going to ask questions or get at me, make sure you're listening. I don't really care if I'm right or wrong. Ignorance is bliss. You're paid to predict these things. Arteta's got a team of physios. You've got a team of scouts. You're paid to predict these things. Arteta clearly knew this was an issue. For the last 2 seasons, he's been crying about the depth. What are we talking about here? What's going on? Did we enter the season with enough depth, enough bodies? Forget all of the injuries. Did we enter that? Go on, just type in Mikel Arteta and probably go to page 4 of Google, because I did it the other day. What came out? We knew we entered the season with players in the red zone. The amount of hamstring injuries. So you can bring up percentages and whatnot, and I'm not quite sure what you're even talking about. You know, we had the most injuries out of 60% of our goals. What the fuck are you talking about? 60% of our goals. Clearly, we know we'd struggle without the strongest team. We've been saying Saka needs rest. Saka needs competition. Saka is in the red zone. Saka plays too much for club and country. We knew this. Do you honestly think in your heart, when they sit down, if they haven't already, in London Coley, when they sit down and they're thinking, they're reviewing last season, what went well, what went right, and what was indifferent, you genuinely think, and again, that's Mikel Arteta, that's Berta, that's potentially Josh Kroenke, that's Tim Lewis, that's the physio, the head physio. and they're breaking down the layers of this football club. You really don't think the physio department and Arteta are going to have a conversation about how we can how we can look after our players a bit more? Maybe Arteta could have rested players. Maybe we need to stop save players from themselves in terms of, I genuinely think players want to play, which is why I disagree when people say footballers don't care. Maybe there's something we could do with the physios. You look at last year versus the year before that, where we had a clean run really, but we still missed 3 key players like Tomiyasu, like Thomas Partey, like Jurien Timber, who unfortunately got the ACL. We've also seen what one injury can do and derail things, like with William Saliba the year before that. We've also seen how injuries can derail seasons. Over the last 5 years, you've seen it happen to City, you've seen it happen to Liverpool. I'm sure you've seen it happen to Chelsea. And don't quote me, to be fair, I'm sure you've seen that to Man United. And now you've seen that to us. Put your best foot forward, which is why I said initially, which I can't understand, is bearing in mind, Arteta said we have one of the weakest squads. We've got one of the smallest squads. We need bodies. Had we have done what we wanted to see us do last summer, this is all I said. You know what we wanted what we want to do this summer. If we did what we want this summer, last summer, and the same thing played out, I'd have said fair enough. So what are we talking about? I don't care what you love and what you don't love, because I'm more than open with being debates. But when people try and be snarky and disrespectful, this is where I get peed off. Please, and not peed off, because I know you won't talk like that. We are more likely to get 2 strikers and a moderate winger, midfield, CDM, and the goal. Do you mean goalkeeper? Usually it's a winger or a striker who has the aura. And that's the thing I look for. Yeah, I genuinely think in an ideal world, yeah. Well, in an ideal world, Gabriel Jesus stays fit and he scores all the goals. Martinelli does what he was doing in 2022-23. And we're probably talking about buffers, or maybe going all out on a market opportunity that's too good to turn down in Rodrigo. But I actually think, you know, for Arteta, in an ideal world, it would be the Liverpool kind of model, in that you've got your Salah on the right, which would be Saka for us. You've got your Mane on the left, which would be, I'm scratching my head. And then you've got your Firmino type, who can get goals, will get a respectable amount of goals, but you're not living or dying by that, really. And when you look in the system, I feel sorry for the striker, if I'm honest, because I want you to score goals, take some half chances. You got to press from the front. You got to drop deep. You got to work the channels. You got to be a sacrificial lamb, if I'm honest with you. And I don't know, but my thing is, if we get an upgrade left wing, yeah, maybe Arteta gives a bit more freedom on that left-hand side, because as much as Martinelli's got a lot of criticisms, and Saka's probably earned the right, it feels like there's more freedom on that right. The left-hand side is more of a tactical thing, if I'm honest with you. So it'd be interesting, man. DG, who would you go for out of Eze, Gibbs White, or Rogers? Difficult questions, Neil. They're all quality. Flipping hell, mate. Careful, Foxy. Foxy, be careful. Like you lot didn't get finesse for Mbuemo. Enjoy João Pedro though. Eze, Gibbs White, Rogers. Big up Morgan Gibbs White, but I would disregard Gibbs White. Now the other two is where it gets difficult. Because imagine Rogers and Rice as 2 8s, or the flexibility that Rogers gives. And Rogers has something very different that I think Rice has, in that we don't really have ball carriers. We've got dribblers, we don't have ball carriers. Right? Rogers has the ability to do that. I think we're miss. Lewis Skelly can do that as well, by the way, but he's playing left back. I think we missed that. Eze can carry a ball. I'd more want Morgan Rogers, if I'm honest, but I think, I'd more want Morgan Rogers, but I think it would make more sense for us to get Eze. I don't think we're getting either. You probably got more of an opportunity to get Thingy though, Eze, because it seems like there's more of a willingness to get a deal done. We know Villa are playing hardball. I don't really buy too much into Villa links to players. The only one I really buy is Emi Martinez to United, to be fair, because every summer, what do you hear? You hear it the more with Newcastle, but you hear it with Aston Villa all the time. Or they got to sell players for PSR. And then, you know, the star players in these teams are linked with moves away. And if you work for Newcastle, you work for Villa, sorry, there's probably many a player, either in the academy or wherever, that you're going to get rid of before you sell your stars, isn't it? Aston Villa tax will be higher than Palace tax. There's also that as well, man. There's also that. DG, you must find them big 6 man when they're back. Yeah, he asks about the net. Boy, is everything all right? Because you've been moving mad in a lot of these chats. Big up South Africa, man. That's where I need to go, man. We need a nimble player in the Musiala mode, left centre mid. Rice is good for big games, but versus mid blocks, we're missing that profile. Bilal Al-Kanous for 25 million euros he's such an Arsenal player. I don't know if he's an Arteta Arsenal player, yeah, but it would work, man. It would work, man. Like, I think Wenger, them kind of players Wenger grabs. Oh, you're South African, Lumby. Okay, let me see. You know what? Dr. Umar wouldn't be happy with us. Let's chill out. By the way, come to South Africa, Cape Town. You're trying to line me and Jayberg. You have a lot of Arsenal fans. Will host you scenes on the Big Six tour to Jayberg. I'll be honest. If I go to South Africa, big up South Africa. I ain't trying to link man, boy. I'll be real, bro. I'll be real. I'm trying to see stuff. Cave, one love, my guy. Why are you not a mod? Okay, comment again so you can become a mod. I think Arsenal need that, what I'd call an aura signing, someone that signals clear intent to win, even if it meant the signing put a key player under pressure, e.g. Elise. Yeah, it's easier said than done, man. Things are perfect, DG. You're moving, man. Yo, DG, how do you rate Rodgers, Eze, and Odegaard? Who do you start over another? In the 10, I'd still persist with Odegaard. I'll be real with you. But Eze and Rodgers, man, just because with Odegaard, the ability's there. I need more heart, man. I need more heart, man. I need more heart, man. I need a lot more heart, man. If I'm honest with you, from him. So yeah, man. It is what it is. If we get another winger, Trossard is not going to celebrate and start sulking when he scores. So that's probably why they're taking their time. Hey, Odegaard, I don't want anyone to be happy on the bench. You can sulk as much as you want. Just make sure you're scoring goals and you make in a good way, you make your manager look silly. Like, I hear that. If you're not happy with being on the bench, you come off the bench, you score, you nick us 3 points. Be angry with the gaffer. Give the gaffer something to worry about. If we've got 25 quote unquote 25 is an exaggeration, 20 unhappy players about being on the bench, give Arteta good problems. Make him like when his wife wants to, have dude birds and the bees. Let his mind be elsewhere. Do I play Martinelli or Trossard or the next one? Havertz is playing out of this world, but I have to play Sesko. What's going on here? I want all of those problems. We need that. I swear we'll be hearing a here we go on DG joining some backroom stuff. I wish, man. I wish. Yeah. Oh, mate. Then I'd have to be a lot more politically correct. I think the funniest comment is this, though, man. You want an all English 11. Where did I say that? Yeah, here we go. Your mod status, man. Let me go on the YouTube community app because I can't believe you're always here. You're always here. You're always here. There you go. With great power comes great responsibility, my friend. What's the time on the clock? Bro, we've spent an hour just talking about general Arsenal thoughts. So what we're going to do is actually go and see what the tabloids are saying. Big up you lot, man. Big up you lot, because time's flying. Without you lot, I'd be dead. Transfer news. Let's leave it at that. What we got to do is actually caps. Transfer news. Happy Friday, folks. Don't forget mods, because I'm modding a lot of you and you're not making sure we're hitting the like button. There's 400 people somehow, some way. We've got 155 likes. Can get 200 or aggressively close. But yeah, let me share my screen, man. What's wrong with a Brexit 11? Listen, if you could get 100 Englishmen, Brazilian man, Scottish man, Somali man, and they win Arsenal trophies, I don't really care where you're from. But let's be honest, that comment is not being said in good faith. And also, it don't make sense because if I think Timbers should start, Magalhaes should start, Saliba should start, Raya should start, what country are they from? Because this ain't Football Manager where you can change their nationality. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, man, let's get into this, people. As you would have seen yesterday, apparently record Portugal, no clue on the credibility. I ain't no journalist. Arsenal have submitted their first official bid for Viktor Gyokeres, 55 million euros plus 10 million euros in add-ons. The offer was made during a meeting yesterday. Sporting are expected to reject it. Apparently, Viktor Gyokeres' agent is set to fly out for talks with Arsenal as his relationships with Sporting Lisbon continue to break down. It's getting nasty and ugly, isn't it? You would have seen he put on his social media, Gyokeres did fire back after you saw the Sporting Lisbon guy have a lot of things to say. There's a lot of talk at the moment. Most of it is false. I will speak when the time is right. And this is, I'm sure I can't speak. I'm not a sporting fan. I'm not a Portuguese football expert, but the hottest loves have the coldest ends. And I'd imagine he's a Portuguese league legend. He's a sporting legend. The fans adore him. The manager probably likes him, all of that. But look how it started and how it ended. Look how Alexis started with us. Look how it ended. Look at my ex, and now, no, I'm joking. I'm definitely not joking with that. But I thought, you know what, Football Mirror Society, I'm definitely cold end. But Sporting won't succumb to blackmail and insults. Again, I have gone over this millions of times. I'm sure you've gone over it. I don't want to go over it again, people. But long story short, the Sporting Lisbon president did say, I never promised nobody leaving for nothing. What's being claimed, you're not going to leave for pennies, and your agent is playing games. So it's turning very sour. And apparently, again, pinch of salt with all of this. Official sporting sources say there has been not yet been any formal proposal for Gyökeres, but rather an initial approach. Again, a follow-up tweet, we'll read that in a sec, but Arsenal have already made its first offer to Sporting for Gyökeres. The Gunners and the Lions met in Menorca and put 55 million euros on the table plus 10 million euros for objectives. The follow-up tweet to that has said this bid has since been rejected, however, can be raised. The figures presented by the Londoners were below the 60 million plus 10 million euros. The Lions received the offer this morning and rejected Arsenal's first offer, which could be raised in the coming days, adding frustration to the fans. But when is the first offer really expected? Apparently, Romano is said to have said, people on Gyökeres, the first thing to do is clarify the exit from Sporting after trouble with the president. Both Arsenal and Man United remain keen and are in contact with his camp. Man United, who are being linked with Hugo Ekitike. So, yeah, they're all saying the same things, people. The offer was presented yesterday at a meeting that took place in Menorca, Spain. I can't pronounce that. Allow me, people. I tried. And which brought together the Gunners sporting director, Andrea Berta, a lawyer for the London club, and Sporting's general director of football, Bernardo Pellegrino, representing the green and white, which is obviously Sporting. That was never going to be enough for Sporting. On Wednesday, the club president spoke to the media. We know he rubbish claims. I must admit, I am quite tired of hearing about Gyökeres. I'll be brutally honest. It's getting boring now. And, well, not just him, several. 180 likes. Let's keep going, people. Question. If they refuse the offer, I'd walk. He's not worth more. I hear it. And on one hand, with my fan cap on, bro, like, you know how much they want. Make them an offer they can't refuse. But then again, this is business. You never really offer what you're prepared to pay first time. We see this all the time. Where Viktor Gyökeres thinks he'll be playing next season after Arsenal talks. Apparently, TBR Football can exclusively reveal where Viktor Gyökeres thinks he'll be playing next season amid links with Arsenal and United. We all know he's expected to leave. He's garnering a lot of interest. Arsenal and United have been linked. Apparently, Gyökeres and Man United remain in contact, but it's the Gunners who are reportedly leading the race to sign him. Arsenal reportedly tabled a bid. The offer fell short. Apparently, according to Graham Bailey, people, conversations are ongoing with Gyökeres' camp and Sporting. A set figure on his sale price is not agreed, but we are told that the expectation now is that Sporting want a deal worth 68 million, in brackets 80 million, although much will depend on guarantees. It's understood the players made it clear to Sporting that they want to know the price so they can confirm the overall situation to his suitors. This includes both Arsenal and Man United, who are in constant contact, although neither side has yet approached Sporting. So neither side has approached Sporting, but apparently a bid's been made. I guess we'll never know the truth, people. But where do you lot think? Do you think a bid's actually been made? Who knows? It's understood. Well, yeah, it's understood the players made it clear to Sporting, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Indeed, we are told there are other Premier League sides who are keeping close tabs on the player situation as well. Every now and again, he's linked with Liverpool, you know, and with them getting Verts over the line, I'm sure they're going to press the acceleration on Gyökeres, and then you never know, depending on what happens with Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez. Apparently, Bailey believes that while the player is convinced he'll play in the Premier League next season, the move could drag on until July. As per him, the players' reps are working hard, but it could be July until something is agreed. Speaking to sources, Gyökeres is convinced that he's moving this summer and he believes he'll be in England. Not that he has ruled out other countries, it's just where he believes he'll be playing. He did make it clear from the start that a deal with Saudi Arabia's Pro League was not a consideration, despite them making an approach this month. Arsenal and United are in constant contact. The lines of communication with those two clubs has been ongoing for months. The players' reps are working hard on his future, but there's no deadline here. It could be this month, but likely July, I'm told, before something is agreed. But there's no panic. They're calm. With both Man United and Arsenal keen on signing the player, it remains to be seen which club he will join, but it looks certain that he'll be playing in the Premier League next season. Well, he actually didn't do the job of, what was said. Well, you did say be playing in the Prem, but it was a bit misleading there. Apparently, we're preparing a new offer worth 70 million euros, people. Whether you lot believe this or not, I don't know. We're expected to raise our offer. We're said to be preparing an offer which would have a higher guaranteed amount than the original 55 million euros and reach over 70 million euros when bonuses are taken into account. Sporting are said to have a good relationship with Arsenal and are ready for a new round of negotiations. United remain interested but only want to pay 60 million euros plus 10 million that the player camp feels was the level agreed. So I guess we'll never know. They're just bare whispers. Apparently, we've made a major breakthrough in the Benjamin Sesko transfer saga and are better placed than ever to sign the RB Leipzig striker. He's been increasingly close to the Gunners in recent weeks, but negotiations over a transfer fee had proven to be tricky. Sources close to the player have disclosed to Football Transfers that there's been significant progress regarding the transfer fee and structure of the agreement between Arsenal and Leipzig. An official bid from Arsenal is therefore expected earlier next week. Top officials from the Bundesliga side were in London again on Thursday, which would have been yesterday, for further talks on Sesko in what was their second visit to the UK capital in a matter of days. While it isn't clear the size of the bid that Arsenal are prepared to make, what has been disclosed is that Mikel Arteta's side are expected to be closer to 100 million euros than 80 million euros with their offer. This is largely due to the payment being spread over a long time frame than Leipzig had initially wanted, which kind of correlates with the Zuba-Mendy stuff. Arsenal still to agree Sesko's salary. Personal terms have not been finalised, but there are no major issues forecast with this issue. Despite this, his wages are still being discussed. The size of his salary is likely to be tied to Arsenal's internal financial planning, particularly around upcoming contract extensions for current players. It's been suggested the Gunners may want to revisit Sesko's wages in an upgraded contract in the medium term. I mean, he's 22. You'd hope he signs a 4 or 5 year deal. If he does what's projected, you would imagine he signs improved terms. It's a bit like, obviously, when you get away from the typical rumours, in my opinion, Gabriel Magalhaes, Trossard, Partey, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Wanyeri, Saka, them kind of guys, you'd be surprised if Timber isn't offered some level of improved terms, for example. And we've seen when Odegaard was in form and Martinelli was in form and a couple of the guys, they got that. So it is what it is. Arsenal have drawn up a plan C after becoming frustrated with the transfer saga surrounding Gyökeres and Sesko. I mean, we should have had that on the table regardless. What is this plan C? Because I know I'm going to read the same things again and again. What is it? Why? Big up Joe Black. Why is Joe Black on the Sun? Fair play. He is an Arsenal scout. Oh, it's talking about Hugo Ekitike. Sunsport understands the frustration from the camps of Gyökeres and Sesko is born from the fact that they are competing against each other to join Arsenal, knowing the North Londoners can only sign one of them. That's true. But if you're Gyökeres, you're talking to Arsenal, Man United, and elsewhere. If you're Sesko, I don't know. You might be talking to others. Everyone's playing the same game, mate. Apparently, Hugo Ekitike is another one for us. Apparently, Julian Alvarez's name has come up in discussions. Yeah, right. I mean, it probably has, but it's a myth, if I'm honest with you. So, yeah. Bilbao Williams' response. Bilbao are calm over the future of Williams, who's wanted by Arsenal and Arteta. Okay, the player has a contract until 2027. We all know about his release clause. And if you believe rumours this week, it seems like Bayern Munich are the front runners to get him. And apparently Bilbao are still trying to convince him with the carrot of the Champions League and obviously a new salary increase. And I guess I'm looking for a new contract. Fabio Vieira is on loan at Porto still and will be playing in the Club World Cup. You'd imagine his days are numbered. Porto have been left resigned to the fact that they'll be unable to sign Fabio Vieira permanently this summer, having had him on loan last term. Does he go on loan again? Porto would love to bring him back permanently. He'll be staying beyond the end of the regular season. There's no buy option. The loan fee to lure Vieira away from Arsenal was believed to be around 750k, with another 600k penalty fee if the player did not play more than half of Porto's games this season. You know what? World Cup year, take on his wages, let him go. If you can flog him permanently, great. Let him stay over there, man. Put yourself in the shop window. Arsenal would need to be convinced to let Vieira leave. I'm no clue on his contract. He's one that I could see staying at the club. We've gone over the prepared new deal. If Rodrigo could shun interest from Arsenal and other Premier League sides to remain with Real Madrid this summer after reports in Spain suggested the Brazilian is happy at the club now. That's probably because he has to have had some discussion or positive encouragement from Xabi Alonso that he will play. So we're going to have to move, whether it is Rafael, Nico Williams, Jamie Gittins, Rodrigo, whatever have you. You're going to have to sign someone else. Gabriel Magalhaes has called him a phenom and said he's phenomenal and kind of talked up his chances. It was quite an interesting kind of podcast with Gabriel Magalhaes. Apparently, we're looking at Nusa, who is subject of interest from Arsenal Football Club. Apparently, he's been on the radar of Mikel Arteta's side for 18 months, but doubts have been expressed over his wage demands. There are no such... who's that about? Oh, Nico. There are no such concerns over Nusa, who at 20 is still in the early stage of his career. It's claimed that a string of other clubs are looking at the former Club Brugge youngster. We was linked with him when he was there, including Chelsea, Newcastle, Villa, Everton, and Napoli. I mean, Leipzig have struggled, innit? Like, they're probably going to let Xavi Simons go. Sesko's gone. Maybe this guy's gone as well, people. I don't know. Are you like having Nusa? I'm not too sure. Good player, good fundamentals, good foundation, but we're kind of in win now mode. We know we're set to miss out on Rodrigo. There's been lots of speculation over Rodrigo. He was unhappy with his lack of playing time under Carlo Ancelotti last season, but it does seem that he's now content at Madrid. He's happy to stay and looking forward to playing under the management of Xavi Alonso. There have been links with Arsenal, but as things stand, the player is happy to stay at Madrid. He wants to stay and fight for his place in the team next season. If he was to leave Real Madrid, he's going to have a huge price tag on his head and huge wages as well, which will make it a difficult proposition for some clubs. I fully expect Rodrigo to stay at Madrid. Gabriel Magalhaes has said, he's already ahead of schedule. We welcome him back. It is Partey's birthday. Nico Williams is a top target for Bayern Munich and apparently Arsenal as well. Apparently Bayern have met his camp twice. I did cover this yesterday, but apparently AC Milan have met with Arsenal over deals for Jakub Kiwior and Zinchenko. They conceded more than 40 goals last season. How's Zinchenko going to stop that? I mean, I want to keep you, Kiwior, but I understand if you want to leave. Zinny, I think you're punching going AC Milan, but fair enough. On the topic of AC Milan, they want 100 million euros for Rafael. I mean, if Kiwior says he wants to cut and Zinny wants to go there, ask AC Milan how much they value both players individually, combine the fee, knock that off. Let's barter, man. Let's barter. Again, apparently Nico Williams has been given permission to speak to Bayern Munich after they met his clause. To be fair, him and Elise is a good partnership. They're now going strong, if this loads, to sign in people. He still has interest from Arsenal and Chelsea. On the topic of those two London clubs, Romano has said we have called to be informed of Ajax's situation with Gerald Hato. Long story short, we're still linked with Sesko, Watkins and Gyokeres. Nothing's going to be decided, but we aim to decide something this or next week, says Ornstein, and we're looking in the 9 position. So it was a whole bunch of nothing. Team news and ticks on Hato did say, people, it's more than phone calls to understand the situation. As we know, Andrea Berta works on multiple deals at a time. When Arsenal were talking to Dean Howson, they were also talking to Joel Hato in his camp. At the moment, it's not clear on how the situation will play out. The player's camp is unsure he'll get minutes he needs and is mulling over the opportunity. To be fair, there's nothing wrong with staying at Ajax for one more year. You're only 19 and you've played over 100 times and captained them. This is complicated by Chelsea being interested, and there'll likely be more minutes available for him there. At left back, probably, or they could play 2 left-footed centre halves, but generally, you should believe he could do something there. What's this? We've gone over Gyokeres, gone over Nusa, gone over Rodrigo and Nico Williams. Still linked with Hugo Ekitike. It says Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea are there, but United have also entered that. Fabio Vieira set to return to the Emirates. I could see you just being on the bench next year. Arsenal's negotiations with Leipzig over a move for Sesko have hit a roadblock. The German club are demanding the release clause of 65 million. Arsenal will move on to other targets if they cannot agree a deal by June the 5th. So that's Sunday. Okay. Let's see. Forget that. Arsenal win battle for Martin Zubimendi as Real Madrid shift focus. I mean, if you care about that at this moment in time. João Pedro, apparently Arsenal, Chelsea give him transfer boost in pursuit of Liverpool linked forward. I don't buy any of this. Apparently, João Pedro said he wants to go. He's still linked with Newcastle. Apparently, he wants to live in London. So that adds fuel to the fire where Arsenal and Chelsea are concerned, folks. And Mbuemo, a player I liked, seemed like he was going Man United. With Thomas Frank being confirmed as Spurs gaffer, apparently they've held initial discussions over a signing of Mbuemo. I mean, they beat you in the Europa League final, which is an L, but if they beat you off the field, it's crazy. Apparently, Barca have just paid Garcia's 25 million euros release clause. There's a one mod in this who loves Jonathan David. Apparently, if Galatasaray cannot complete the transfer of Victor Osimhen, I want Gyokeres in it, they'll make an official offer to Jonathan David. Is there anything new here? Man said a Moroccan team going for Cristiano Ronaldo. Fair play. Spare thought for Bournemouth, man, losing several players. They might even lose Justin Kluivert to Leverkusen. That's a good move. We'd all love Musiala, but that's dream chasing. Apparently, United have resumed discussions with Osimhen, who's still demanding a 12 million a year salary. I mean, if he drops those demands, surely we can get involved, man. Surely, but that ends the transfer section. Let's get back into what you lot are saying, folks, and let's also make a timestamp. See, big up you lot on the replay. But yeah, let's get into this. We need to start scouting from River Plate. The whole of South America, my friend. Williams is good. La Liga training bonus would be cheaper than a lot of alternatives too. But would he really? Because you look at the wages. Didn't England lose to Senegal? You man aiming high with Spain. Damn. Nico Williams is a better footballer around better players. I hear that. Big up yourself, though. What a display picture. That's crazy, but yeah, you can't bench Cucurella at left back. Why not? Is Cucurella world class? If you're not a world class player, anything can happen. I hope you man are saying that when we need to beat Bayern with him and he's running rings around us. Instead of two strikers now, get one of them, sell Havertz next year and go back for Alvarez. If you think Martinelli is frustrating, Rafa Leao and Nico Williams are no better. Rodrigo needed a physical and mental break, so they mutually agreed not to call him up. Seen that already. Don't need two class wingers. Already got Saka on one side. Can never have too many quality players, though, man. Arsenal has been starved of the CF so long, and overcorrection at the position with two strikers wouldn't be very surprising. All these men that have been slandering Williams, you better watch yourself. One winger, one striker is enough. The rest of the team is solid, just lacking creativity, finishing / clinical chance conversion. There's a lot for Arteta to arrest tactically as well, man. I don't think just new signings coming and we're calm. Gyokeres, Sesko is fine, but Arsenal need a Rodrigo level signing to both make a statement and raise the level in the squad. Afternoon, Hendon Gooner, man. Appreciate you, man. Keep cool, man. It's a very hot Friday. Very hot Friday. And yeah, I did see that, Foxy, man. Gabby Vega's come over from Middle East, secured his generational wealth, and CO from Brighton. It feels like that seems like a league he'll do a lot better in. Sesko's all right, but he goes missing a lot of matches and he loses the ball a lot. However, he does have elite ball striking and clinical finishing. I would bet that Sesko would score more than Gyokeres down. There's a world where we buy both strikers. I hope so. I would love for that to be one, but I can't see it. Let's get to 400 likes. 400 likes is dream chasing, my friend. But hey, 210 likes. Vamos. Let's see if we can get to 300. Hey, I'm excited. Yes. Mm-hmm. If you hit the like button, God bless you. Hope you win the lottery. Hey. That's the if you hit the like button, you're a gallus. To all the pretty gal, all the gal that watch me, if you hit the like button, you're definitely one of the prettiest babes in the city. All the world. And if you haven't, and you think Arsenal are getting a striker, you're sadly mistaken. Oh, you lot made my Friday, man. DG Nation badge. I know it's Arsenal, but imagination. Road to 70k. We're trying, man. Like and subscribe. You're a Liverpool man, Frank. But big up yourself. Man are getting desperate for transfers. They're talking Diaz. I'll have Diaz at Arsenal, but madness. Nah, it's cool, Els, man. It's cool, Els, man. It's difficult to... I understand it now. My bad. It's difficult to tell the context, man. You see, I can be wrong. Nice Bunsen, but hey, chill out. I'm a piano. I don't mind it when I'm drunk, but it's not my thing. It's not my thing. Trent is shameless, showing up on his unveiling, speaking fluent Spanish, meaning he wanted to leave for quite a while. It was funny seeing the Liverpool fans meltdown online. Hope we don't go through it. Get the likes out, man. Diaz is everything you want from Gabby. When he's got a Colombia shirt. I big up views on sport. My guy, I need to get you on the platform, man. Need to. Trying to get more people on the platform. Big up views for the raid. Trying to shed the light. Ask ChatGPT where Gyokeres will play next season. Fuck it. Why not? Yo, bro, where will Gyokeres play next season? I'll tell you a lot when he answers. Get Tagliafico to Arsenal. I see you've been missing. I just want 1 year that we get stuff done early. We're Arsenal. It's too much to ask, man. Keep Kiwior, has matured well, looks solid. The only way I'm selling Kiwior is naturally every player's got a price. If we're offered something, we can't refuse. But if he says he wants to leave, as I said earlier, if I'm him, I'm considering everything. Because again, being linked is different things. But the credible journalists, going back to January, they've said Arsenal would like defensive reinforcements. You're not playing ahead of Gabriel Magalhaes or Saliba generally. I don't know if everybody's fit. Obviously, with what he's displayed, he's probably changed it. But prior, I don't know if a Ben White, a Tomiyasu, a Calafiori, these guys that are not necessarily centre halves would have been used before him. And then if you do get, which we didn't get Howson, we haven't got Gurhey, we haven't got Victor Rice, we haven't got Hato. These are going to push you further down the pecking order, potentially. If you're cool in London and you're cool here, great. But if you want first team football and you want to genuinely have a season where, I don't know, if there's 38 Premier League games, you're at least playing 30 to 35 of them, probably not going to happen here. Playing the same 11 all season, they'll get burnt out real fast too. Got to rest them with average players for easy, non-important games. Every game's crazy. DG, what is an initial approach? Hi, how you doing? Probably just lukewarm conversation, judging the willingness on wanting to sign for the club, what you think of the club, what you think of the of everything. Probably a bit of how you seeing each other, how you are as men. Probably seeing broadly what well, if you don't signal willingness to sign for the club, there's no point talking about, what you would want in terms of personal wages. Maybe using it as an opportunity to pick the brains of the agent and seeing what the selling club would be is like. And then ultimately, yeah, but you did where Gyokeres is concerned, where Sesko is concerned, especially Sesko, you'd imagine like not just us, all that stuff's been done. It comes down to the bids and the gamesmanship and all of that, and clearly something's going on. Like clearly something's going on. I don't know if Sporting and Leipzig are playing hard, but I don't know. DG, we doing under 21's highlight watch. If there's time, why not, man? We can still do this for another hour, DG. I'm here, man. I'm here to serve the people, man. I'm here to serve the people. DG, we need experience on the left wing for Martinelli to learn from. We don't need potential on the left wing, especially if we're going to get potential in Sesko. Time we get some experienced ballers. I'm here for that. And yeah, you can learn from other people and whatnot, but if Martinelli was 18, 19, I hear that. I'm not being funny. You're Brazilian international. You've played enough games now. Like, you need to learn for yourself now. Fought for 6 seconds. Here's the latest on Gyokeres and where he might play next season. Arsenal, Man United have held firm interest and held agent meetings with Burton meetings Sporting in Menorca to progress talks. Man United may rejoin under Amorim, who previously coached Gyokeres at Sporting. Chelsea, Liverpool, and even Barcelona are monitoring the situation, though Champions League assurances are a key factor. Sporting insists no verbal agreement with Gyokeres yet, although a gentleman's deal for 60 to 70. While Gyokeres posted a cryptic message undermining Sporting's position, he remains determined to leave this summer, and no move is planned in January. Gyokeres is believed to favour a move to the Premier League with Arsenal, United, Chelsea and Liverpool tipped as front runners. Champions League remains a top priority. Barcelona's interest is more speculative. Where he'll play, all signs point to him moving in the summer, likely to join an English top flight club. Right now, matches suggest Arsenal, United lead the race. Arsenal's structure, talks and Berta's involvement gives them the right edge. United may still push under Amorim's influence, but Champions League inclusion could tilt the deal in Arsenal's favour. Chelsea or Liverpool remain in the mix, but seem less likely. Barcelona looks improbable this summer. Expect Gyokeres to complete an English move before the summer deadline, with Arsenal likely favourites, especially if Champions League football is secured. ChatGPT, you know where we are in the league, and Berta angles the deal right. That is what ChatGPT did. So yeah, you got what you wanted, mate. There's bare things, meetings taking place, but did we not, going back to ironically, which was staged in Portugal, and you can have a series of meetings, but people say Arsenal ended the season trophyless, in which I say we're champions of Europe. We all know Arsenal's women beat Barcelona in Portugal. Did we not hear whenever that was, that at the same time Berta was meeting? Now you can have multiple meetings, and again, we'll never know. The media's playing games. They want engagement. We've heard meetings in London, meetings in Portugal, meetings in Spain, meeting with this, so I'm pivoting with this and that. God knows, man, which is why I always say the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. I'm more than happy to speak about these deals with you lot and whatnot. But at the end of the day, until man are holding shirts, or at the very minimum, we hear a medical is taking place at this moment in time. For all the whispers and this journalist is more credible and this ITK knows what he's talking about, this is where it kind of starts and stops, really. Odegaard scores in games that don't really matter when the pressure is on. This guy don't want to shoot. Manchester City. Hart, he just needs to stay fit and get adequate rest. Matthew, there's been so many comments. Unfortunately, I don't know what you're referring to at that moment, my guy. DG, Arsenal's net spend since Arteta has been head coach is over 600 million on players and not many trophies won. I mean, other people have spent a lot more, and a lot of it was catch up. But in these last 3 years, as we've got to this scenario, there has to be a correlation. Now, you need to get over the line. You need to win silverware, man. Ultimately, it's not all your fault, but the nature of the business, it falls with the manager. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, man. It is what it is. I think Arsenal need... Oh, sorry, already went through that aura question. Trossard and Gabby can't be trusted. You just don't know what you're going to do. Listen, if we want to be a team that has has all them, not pointless stats, but defensive stats, all them good things, gets to this couple semi-finals, competitive in the big games, we've got enough. But if we want to get to the next level, we need to start being able to... We need an attack that we can believe in. We need Arteta to evolve. We need to be harsh on ourselves. Let's be harsh on ourselves and then be cruel to the world, man. Big up Charlie, man. Bro, I've heard 54 times this week that Arsenal are very close to signing Gyokeres, Rodrigo, or Sesko. Join the club, man. That's why I don't take too much heart in it. The game's the game. We'll be here talking about it, but I'm at the point, just link us with someone new. I don't, even if we don't sign them, just so we have something else to talk about. Just I don't know, Xavi Simmons for no reason. I don't know, just something new, man. Saka and Robin are like direct opposites, where Robin would get 17.5 GA, Saka would get 5.17 GA. But yeah, Liverpool. I mean, it has to be a record fee. Vert's a quality player. As long as he's better than Martinelli, I don't mind anyone left wing. That has to be. It has to be upgrade on both of the guys that currently occupy that. Watch when Gabriel Jesus is fit. Don't write him off. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Not gonna lie, potential on the left wing is calm. I do hear that, but like fans are impatient. It is win now mode. If you've got Sesko who's developing a new talented player that might be a better option than what we have, but still potential, it's still kind of Saka at the moment of them entering in the club. We hope they score goals and that's all we want. But from the moment of them entering the club, it's still Saka doing the doggy work and the leg work and all of that. Talawar TV, make sure you subscribe. You know, does great stuff, especially for the Jamaican and Caribbean-based football fans. So yeah, make sure you're subscribing to our platform. As the lady has said, like this stream, people. Put those two new players with Rodrigo Moore and Samu up front. Probably sell Costa to bring in. Yeah, Porto, they're going to do their thing. I need Trent to do the Sue celebration shamelessly at the Bernabeu too. Crazy Sesko and Gyokeres were 10 to 15 mil cheaper a few weeks ago when we should have bought one of them. Now look at us. This is what being stingy sometimes gets you. Shout out, Matt. You man are criminals that would take Diaz. I wouldn't be against it, but it's an upgrade, but it's the ball's on the floor. We act like fans are saving money saying one striker is enough. If get both, so be it. For once, we don't go hungry. I hear it. I hear it. Big up the Pakistani supporters, man. Come on. Only half the viewers have liked the vid. Run up their likes. Afternoon, Sasha. See, my mods. We got some of the best mods in the business. DG Arsenal may surprise fans by signing Sesko and Gyokeres, especially if we can't get Rodrigo and Willian. It's true, but then, I mean, the one good thing is you know, there's no, I'd rather potential and this and that. We've got two great guys in it, and maybe Arteta could tweak the system, but then who the hell is going to play left wing? Is he going to put Sesko out there? Some of you, I remember a comment, someone said put Gyokeres out there. I'm not on that. So what would happen there? And then obviously you got to think about Kai Havertz, because it would be good, because if Gyokeres is the proven guy and he's hitting the ground running, and Sesko shows potential and can be pulled out of the team, then you've got two of them. But even that, what's the outlay? We hear everything up to 80 odd million quid for Sesko. The same with Gyokeres. That's a lot of money. And then you throw in Zubimendi. And you throw in the 5 million on Kepa, you do have to factor in signing new deals and whatnot. And that's before we're talking about a left winger. I would love to be wrong, and I'm no accountant, but imagine, like, I can't see us signing. Maybe you could get two strikers, maybe not them two, maybe Gyokeres and a Watkins, maybe Sesko and a Watkins. I couldn't see Gyokeres and Sesko and then a Nico Williams or Rodrigo. I don't know how it would work. And I'm not an accountant. I don't know Arsenal's finances. So 1,000,000% I'd want to be wrong, but it's not making sense. It'd be nice to have two forwards, though, man. It'd be nice to have that level raiser and someone that's mixing and blending in the squad. We need to, like, it's not fair on Saka, man. We need Saka to thrive, but like, just share the burden, really and truly. A substitute coach, surely not. Is there a tie or shoelace coach? Ignorance will be bliss, man. At the end of the day, all fans can do is watch. We have no control over any of this. It's just wasted energy. There you have it. Skelly got so much praise at left back. Let's remember this first year. We haven't seen what he can do in midfield. Arteta hasn't even tried. I think he'll be cool in midfield, man. Obviously, there's still a lot he needs to work in at left back, but he'll be cool. That's your position. Like, you're basically doing the same things. Obviously, there's probably different areas of the pitch Arteta would want you to stand in that, but you can pass the ball. You got good passing range. You're confident receiving in different angles. You're very good at driving. You understand that you need to defend, and that was your role. It'd be interesting to see with Lewis Skelly, but the main thing for him is, bro, you need to just play games. Hire me, Arteta. I coach lads to put on the best shirts. What's wrong with this guy? Sesko and Gyokeres both don't make sense at all. Unless Graham Bailey has said something new in the last 10 minutes on Gyokeres, I'll be honest, I don't want to see it. If Kiwior is going to AC Milan, we need 30 million minimum for him. You know them Italian teams, they're going to try and cheapskate us. They're going to try and rob us. It's loans with options, loans with obligations. You know what they're going to do. Oh, we ain't got no money. We ain't got no money at all. We know we're going to get zanked. I dropped £400 in the armory this week. The least they can do is get a striker to sign the thing. But hey, to be fair, no one told you to spend that. It's a pretty penny. I don't know how having two strikers doesn't make sense, personally. But I wouldn't be against it. I'd love to wake up where you got two strikers, a rotation done, a proper game changing number 9, a left winger. Obviously, Saka's in the cart when Yeri's about. The Havertz's, the Marinos, the Trossards, the Martinellis. You lot are part of the squad. You can help us throughout the season. If your form's out of this world, Bob's your uncle. You ain't got nothing to worry about. As a Barca fan, what are you gonna say here? I would suggest Arteta goes for a ready-made striker and left wing. The Martinelli of 2023 is not the same currently due to injury. Both Saka and Martinelli need rest for others to start. Martinelli needs to be the guy to allow other people to rest. I think we should get Lee out. Arteta can make him clinical, my opinion. It's a lot of money to bet on, though. Arsenal don't get enough penalties for Gyokeres. We were awarded 2 last season, 2 the season before. Just over 40% of Gyokeres' goals last season, 20 out of 49 were penalties. Yeah, but in the last 3 years, he scored 20 plus goals, though. I hear you, and you are right with that, but is what is. DG, predict your top 4 for next season. On the 13th of June, City, Liverpool, that's in order. Arsenal. There's gonna be a dark horse in it. There's always somebody that mounts a charge of something that you don't expect. But what? City, Liverpool, Arsenal, I think will be there. Do I go with Man United because they're playing 1 game a week? Do I go with Chelsea because I think people are downplaying them? Maybe Spurs under Thomas Frank. Can't disrespect Newcastle, especially if they get a tiny bit bigger squad and add some quality. I'm going to say Chelsea. June 13th today, a month to go to pre-season. Top Gooner saying it's only been 2 weeks since the window opened. The time will run out real quick before panic buying kicks in, DJ. I hope they prove you wrong. But boy, we're just going to have to see what's going on, man. It is what it is. No other fan bases uses aura signage. You get aura from being prestige, and that's by winning trophies. I think I know what it means, man, because I'd say Alexis is under that realm as well. Yo, DJ, I trust Berta, but can't say the same for that Wallad or Teta Harsh. I like Berta, and I'll extend my trust to you because of your CV and the fact that, you're not part of this, but everybody needs to earn the fans' trust. Like, all of you lot deliver. Like, all of you lot. You lot will all get praise if it works. You lot will all get criticism. I'm past the he say, she say stage now. We should sell our entire attack except Saka. Sesko, Liao, Zubi, and a quality 10, I'd be happy. Where do you put Leeds in the table next year? I hope they stay up. Shout out all my Chapel Town ones. I hope they stay up. Hot take, and I hope I'm wrong, and I probably will be wrong because I'd love Brentford to stay up. But I just wonder for Brentford, if you lose Mbuemo, you've lost your gaffer now and the coaching staff. Are you automatically now trying to stay up? I don't know, man. Who got promoted this year? Leeds? I think Sunderland are going back down. I think the squad's too young. I want to be wrong, but what? Leeds, Sunderland? Someone help me. Leeds, Sunderland. I want to say Sheffield, but I'm wrong on that. Leeds, Sunderland. Help me. Help. Sub, help. So everybody's just gonna, there's 300 of you locked in. Everyone's acting legally blind. You really are alone in dark times, You're by yourself in dark times. You see Burnley, sliced bread, the only one I rate, man. So what's that, Burnley? It's techie, man, because it feels like another one where all the same 3 teams could go down. I think Brentford will be in a relegation fight. I don't want them to go down. I want Leeds to stay up, man. Well, to be fair, I hope Spurs go down. Not really United, but if they have, if the season plays out for them 2 teams the same way it did, which it won't, West Ham could be in trouble, because West Ham kind of shit towards the end of it. I think Brentford will be in a relegation fight, but I think they'll survive. It's probably the same 3 teams. I think Sunderland need to add some experience in their team. I think they need to be a bit cute and clever, to be fair, and maybe see who's got try and be clever. Like there's a couple of players you could probably get from Chelsea on loan, things of that ilk. I hope Everton stay up. I just think Sunderland, they came up with a young team, and somebody said, they sold Bellingham. They're doing what they're doing. Hand of Arsenal. I wish that was the real one, but don't know my guy, man. Sunderland made a quick profit on that. Chris Rigg is quality. They're going to be good to see. I'm keen to see the Tyneside derby. I'm not going to lie. I think Newcastle are going to absolutely smoke them. Like, absolutely hit them for 3, 4, 5. But we ain't seen that for time. And I'm sure Newcastle, there's probably no love lost between Sunderland and Newcastle fans, but they probably missed that little derby, man. Especially if you're a Newcastle fan, because you've been good. You've been good. and your levels above them. Like it's a smoke in it. It's gonna be like what Arsenal was in the early 2000s against Spurs. I think Everton will stay up. Big up Moisey. They need a relegation specialist. Frank's such a difference maker for Brentford for me. They're for sure bottom 5. Now I don't want them to go down. Like I'm a big fan of everything Brentford do. You know, Thomas Frank, the coaching staff. They were one of the first teams to start getting throwing coaches and all that kind of crap. The scouting is clearly ridiculous. They probably will get. Well, Thomas Frank's a tough act to follow, but they'll probably will get another manager that maybe none of us know about, but we'll start rating his thing. So yeah. I see the top 4: City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Villa. Yeah, sour. Arsenal are not going to be in the top 4. It's cool. I'm gonna remind you of that. Sour. Villa are going to finish above Arsenal. You know me. I'm never one to be a bit smug. Get out of here with that. Get out of there. Arsenal drop out the top 4. Because that's one thing Arteta can't do. Because that's when the foolishness stops. That's when you might lose that 15 million a year deal. Brighton are due a season where everyone is waffling about them. To be fair, don't you lot reckon Brighton are in that weird scenario now where you've got Premier League stability, but you're at that point now, like, I'm sure you would have loved the season like Nottingham Forest or, to be fair, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, where you're kind of, quote unquote, punching above your weight. Surely Bournemouth are now at that stage now where you want to, and it is the belly of the beast, but you hold on to some of these players that have gone on and done other things or been sold for profit and try to push for Europe, whatever you define as Europe, whether that's the Conference League, the Europa League, the Champions League, so on and so forth. DGD fancy being a sports presenter. Try everything in this life, man. I don't think I'm good enough for that, but hear it. Brentford were the first team to ditch the academy setup. I think they have an A and B team. Yeah, there was one of them. Do you think Arsenal should sign a backup centre back immediately? Sunderland got promoted a year or two too early, if that makes sense. They're not ready for this level. Gonna need a couple more experienced heads, man. But they've done well, though. And to come to get promoted with a young-esque kind of squad, it's no mean feat. 258 likes, man. I know you got DG Vex. Arsenal at the top 4 reckoning, but if the transfer window is 5 or 6 out of 10 could happen. I didn't put my team in the top 4 either. No bias picks over here. It'll be competitive. I hear you, but you know, because Foxy, I know you. You did that because I knew you knew I was going to mention it. You can't out mind games me, you know. Arsenal to not be in the top 4. I'll bet you £100. £100 Arsenal are not, your prediction is wrong. And if you're right, if I'm right, I'll give you £100. If I'm wrong, I'll put 200 in some charity. What are you saying? Put your money where your mouth is, fella. Put your money where your mouth is. Smash the like button if Foxy needs to put his money where his mouth is. Big Arsenal not in the fucking top 4. Don't take the piss. God, please. Because in life, you do have to stay humble because this could immediately get clipped up. Anything can happen, but I'm confident we'll be there, man. I'll tell you, bro, this little job Arteta is doing, all the cult dons are gone, you know. All them, even the cult dons that probably wish Mikel Arteta had OnlyFans and all of that and love glazing him and anything Arteta does, pause. They're gone. Arteta must get Champions League, lad. You did it with all these injuries. And to be fair, we were in that unique spot in that we're nowhere near Liverpool. We're better than everybody else. We'll limp over the line, if that makes sense. Big up Thomas Frank. No more big ups. No more big ups for Thomas Frank. All of a sudden, he's overrated. Instead of selling Zinni, why not use him in midfield? Martin has declined. I hear it, but I've just come to accept, rightly or wrongly, there's got to be a reason Zinchenko is not playing in midfield on a consistent basis for our club or City. I don't personally feel Arteta's convinced with what he does off the ball, and he's probably gone. It is what it is. Yeah, man. And I like Arteta, but they can't rate Arteta. You cannot rate Arteta if you big him up and then you find excuses for little dibby nonsense. But I am not trying to fight no one because they love Mikel Arteta more than the club. A lot of people are just loyal to agendas. They don't love the middle ground and the nuances and whatnot. So do what needs to be done. Would you take Vlahovic or Osimhen? I'd rather Osimhen. I was a big fan of Vlahovic, but I'm not rating this thing now, man. I don't know, man. And I don't know if it would work. Maybe in 2022 it would have, yeah. But I don't think it would work at Arsenal again, purely because I'm sure he was playing for Serbia and he basically, when Thiago Motta was the Juventus coach, and he was like, he didn't, I'm paraphrasing and being a bit inaccurate, but he basically said he prefers the way the Serbian gaffer utilizes him because he doesn't make him do all that pressing stuff. Rightly or wrongly, if you're not on doing that for Juventus and Motta, it's not going to work at Arsenal. And to be fair, it's probably not going to work in the present day. No, I don't think Zinchenko's worse. I wouldn't cry if he's in the squad, but you need to go in it. Like, if you're on big wages, you just need to cut, bro. Like, you're not going to be used in midfield. Then I might be on keeping you. It is what it just, we're at where we're at now with it, if I'm honest. Odegaard is our captain for a reason. A reason we might not find out. Although you did see the scenes for Norway. When Odegaard, hot take, Odegaard's back next season. Odegaard's back. Odegaard's back. We all got hot takes. That's mine. Let's get the likes up. I'll take Vlahovic over Gyokeres. I can't co-sign that, big homie. But big up Aaron the mod. I don't know. Nah, G. Nah, Killy. Nah, man. Nah. No. Was 2022, 23, and 23, 24 not a title challenge with some meaty players infesting the squad? I'm not even mentioning Nelson and Nketiah, Zinchenko, Kiwior. I'm not gonna lie. Don't ask me why. I was watching Nketiah highlights again yesterday. You see what Arsenal's pursuit of a striker is doing to me. I can't lie. I was having devilish thoughts. He weren't even that bad, you know. Maybe if we gave him a bit more faith and let him play, weren't that bad. I was watching the big game highlights. Actually, the goal we had against United. If I'm Arsenal, I'm tackling the League Cup as soon as possible. Bag a trophy at the first opportunity because the fans will give me another 5 years, even if fall short in the Prem or the UCL. It's right, man. We need silverware. I know the goalposts will move. It's not the major trophies, but like, we're starving now. Toast will do. What you mentioned there, DJ, is why Brighton look like they won't break that glass ceiling. Way too happy with selling their best players. Football's a business. There's probably some exceptions to the rules, but I don't think football clubs are like fans. We just want our clubs to be the best in it. Like, we just want to be the best. We want to win every game, win every trophy, be the envy of the world, etc., etc. I think owners and businessmen would like that. I don't necessarily think they care about that, bro. Like, at the end of the day, it's the bottom line. It's the peace. And our game is just going to get more and more out of touch, whether you support Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool. I see, you know, there's fans of everyone in this chat. It is what it is, man. Like, it's gone, bro. It's gone, man. I see Semenyo going Spurs. 70 million, though. That's crazy. To navigate around Tony's ban, I forgot they had the ban, you know. He had the ban, you know, constantly tweaking the system, losing players and replacing them. Watkins, Mupé, Tony. Exactly. And they just came up in the Prem 2 minutes ago. Exaggeration, but you get the point. Arteta coach is too well to fall out the top 6 with the current squad. Top 4, sorry. It's too early for me to call the top 4, but I know we'll get it for real. I mean, you lot asked me on the 13th of July and the 13th of August. And then someone clipped me up and we'll see how you know, what I predict. I need to have more fun with you lot next year, man. Let's have some predictions and whatnot. Although they always say, oh, did you sit on the fence? When I'm out here puffing out chest for Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli and Kiwior and this and that, right? As long as they're talking, in it. Misunderstood genius. I'm surprised fans don't think we need 2 strikers. We got to start expecting the best. City had 2 before selling 1 to Madrid. Liverpool has Gakpo and Diaz. Kai is not a striker, by the way. Is what it is. We played Sunderland in the FA Cup recently. Wolves might get relegated. That's a shout. Completely forgot about Wolves. You lost El Nori and Cunha. They were in a bit of a relegation fight. And to be fair, Wolves, West Ham, based on their performance, it's an anomaly, really, because they shouldn't be there. I'm not going to... It does apply to Spurs, but I don't want to say I am childish. But, you know, West Ham, Wolves, flipping United based on their campaign last year, Spurs based on their campaign last year. Probably lucky that, simply put, the 3 teams that ultimately got relegated, it's a bit of a myth, really. And it feels like a lot of the teams that are getting promoted, obviously, it's naive because we've just been bigging up Brighton. It feels like it's back to that yo-yo club kind of thing. Like, you're going to get promoted, you're going to go down. It's almost like, from what I saw last year, and it doesn't make no sense, and I don't know how you do it yet, but it's almost like you need Premier League level players in the Championship immediately, and then you get promoted. Obviously, you hang on to them a bit, and you build on that, if that makes sense. DG Berto wants to sign both Gyokeres and Sesko and get rid of Jesus in 29. But there's also rumors around Gabby Jesus getting a new deal. And I don't think he can get rid of 29. But Arteta is going to fight tooth and nail. And it's all fun and games saying get rid of Gabriel Jesus. The man ain't fit and he's on big wages. Another big deal is with Kai Havertz. And he's probably going to start at this moment in time. Kai Havertz probably starts through the middle. I must admit, smaller case study. I'd rather see Mikel Merino. I have been converted. But yeah, the Wolf shout is one. Chris Rigg is quality, man. If there was money spare, I'd take a punt, you know. I'd put the money down for Sunderland and say, you know what, have him for a year playing in the Championship. He's quality, man. Sunderland, you're gonna get a couple of them players gone. 2 wingers, when in consecutive windows you guys brought in a cam and a centre mid, 2 strikers. Apologies. I want the man if worse comes to worse in your display picture, bro. Lookman. And you're right, bro. Like, again, I can't say Kai Havertz isn't a striker because you can play as a false nine. You've shown your versatility for us, for Leverkusen, for Chelsea and Germany. You scored the winning goal in the Champions League. But you're right, bro. It's not no masterclass. The centre midfield thing with Havertz did not bang. You went up front. We found a little thing that happened. Marino as well. You're right. It's crazy. This is why, bro, can we just get some actual strikers? Arsenal need to break the bank. Arteta only gets sacked if he finishes outside top 4. Even then, 5th could get you UCL. He will bust case, man. That's like us saying we can't sell the Sassy, so we use him as a striker. I'm not sure on that. DG, do you think some fans understand that their standards expectations are not aligned with that of the hierarchy? Nope. I feel there's no balance in the Arsenal fan base. I think some people, and I get it, the ambition should be to be invincible again, or treble, or what City done, or what Liverpool have done, or what any decent, or be like Real Madrid. That should be everyone's ambition to be mentioned with that. And I get it. We were told when we moved to the stadium by a certain man whose name won't be mentioned why we moved to the stadium. We want to be Bayern Munich level. But some man moved like we're Real Madrid. And I just think, and I also feel some section of our fan base, the fan is on the floor. Like, you would think we're watching under 8s. We're a good team. We need to become a great team. People can call us bottlers. All right, we'll hold that. But again, if I may present another side to that, we're cool. Once you get past the banter thing and, yeah, well, bottlers, we don't get over the line. If you're calling us bottlers and, second, ole, and all of that, we must be within touching distance, no? You must be, right? Do you get where I'm going? Get over the line now. Because Arteta, I do think you're a good coach. Isolate you. You're a good coach. You're a baby of a coach, really. You've been in the game 2 seconds, essentially. And I think there's a lot of good stuff. But I like my football club a lot more. And what I don't want to happen is you're just allowed to keep doing this thing. You're a good coach. Are you a winning coach? That's where we need to go to. The last 5 years, you've got us into the realm. Get over the line. If not, something else has to happen. Ultimately, it's these lots of issues, man. So, yeah, man. I think the teams coming up from the Championship need to add higher release clauses to their stars, like Gusto Hamel can't be leaving Sheffield for less than 30. It's true, though, and I hear that. But if you're one of them, obviously you can't predict the future. But if you are a player in the Championship, like when, Leeds had Rafinha for a couple of years or whatever, yeah, and you know that, yeah, you know what, I am going to be someone one day. You don't want that in your deal. You might, because it makes it easier to prize you away, but you might not. Right, I forgot that we had gotten Kepa. Who knows, man? But yeah. Next year, would you start Skelly? His left back's your place to lose. Your place to lose. Kelsey's only ambition is at the back, which is true. But then at the same time, can I sit here and say the only reason we haven't won, and again, on this channel, we've spoken about the Cronkies and the remit and the dynamics at play, and even going back to previous experiences when you hear about Cesc Fabregas, Ashley Cole, which was before the Cronkies, many an ex-Arsenal player have questioned the ambition. But I look at the last 3 years. Can I just say that because of the Cronkies, that's the reason we ain't 1-3 in the last 3 years? It's an absolute lie. Because I'm not fond of the Cronkies, but they can sit here and tell me whether you like Arteta or not. You can't say we're not ambitious because we got a manager with no experience. He has got the club back in some way. We are a decent team. We are competitive. It is difficult playing us. The statistics are there. We've grown the team. We're doing all of that. We let him break the wage clause. We have freed up money. Not that there's been many, but post Arsene Wenger, he's been allowed the most freedom. Yes, we've made mistakes, but we've backed this man. We've paid. We've given him peas as well. I don't think it's not. I think it's a mixture, but I don't think you can just say that with the Cronkies. The overlining thing, you're only as ambitious as the owners. We're not going to go to where I would love our club to go with them, but are they to be blamed for the playing squad? No. Everybody has. There's a lot of moving parts, man. Romano just said Gyokeres is in constant talks with Arsenal's camp. Romano, I got love for you, my guy, but you're jarring. Let's be real. He's mad jarring. Like, it's that you're just you must have been that guy at school. You get your friend's homework, the last paragraph, you pull it first. You just remix, and I hear it. The game's the game. Get your engagement. You're Romano. You do your thing, but you just keep saying the same things bare times. Like, I can't see anything in particular on his Twitter account at the moment, to be fair, but you're just saying the same things, man. Boy. Sesko Gyokeres Rodrigo, another summer soap opera for us. It's true. And let's be honest, bro. It's a relationship of convenience, man. Like, let's be honest. Let's strip the drama. Arteta's got a sweet gig at Arsenal. You got a religious following. There's been times where other managers could have, would have, and should have been sacked. For a manager that's been in the game 2 minutes, you're getting full autonomy over the football club. You know, some of it's warranted, some of it's not. You know in your heart, as long as I get Champions League, it's calm. You win the any player battles you've been winning. They're allowing you to learn and grow, which you've shown some evidence of that. And then elsewhere, it's a relationship of convenience, bro. Like, it's a relationship of convenience. The Cronkies can't believe they're like, what do you mean? This manager's been here 2 minutes. We're mashing up Real Madrid. He's got quarterfinals and semi-finals, so that's more money. We're back in the Champions League. Man are getting injured, and we're still a shoe-in for the Champions League. And with everything, this is why I have to curb my ambition and I have to curb my frustration, because in life, when things are not in my control, how, as much as it breaks my heart, how vexed can I get? I think people at this football club, I actually think Arteta and the players and Berta are very ambitious. It's more how we've been going about things, Berta excluded because he just walked in. I personally think the Cronkies would like to win. I don't think it's a dying thing, because you look at what they're doing over in some other what do you call it, other sports disciplines. Do you guys not find the situation completely ridiculous? What have Arsenal become? Brother, I knew we, bro. Do you know when I knew we were moving mad? Yeah, when we forget the scoreline against Man United. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Forget the scoreline. Look at the players that were out there. Who would you choose, Gyokeres or Sesko? Gyokeres at the moment. Arteta's leeching off Sociedad players. I won't be surprised if he gets you linked to Cuba or Jarabal. To be fair, Jarabal, I think he's played in 5 finals and scored in 5. So if we get to a final, we might be someone. It's miserable with the AI channels. What are you talking about there? When we chased Sancho for 2 years, I muted the word Sancho, got tired of the saga. We are not ambitious, DG. We are mid when it comes to ambition. The Cronkies haven't invested. I mean, January tells us everything in it. Haven't invested heavily until around 5 years or 6. They haven't shown any real interest now. So it is a bit different. I'm not backing the Cronkies, but 5 or 6 years, yeah, that places you around, give or take. Well, 5 years is obviously 2020. 6 years is obviously 2019, innit? Did they not get full ownership of in 2018? There has now been a bit more investment, whether I like it or not. I know it might not be their money, and let's be honest, they're using Arsenal as collateral. I'm not defending Arteta, the Cronkies, or whatever. I'm only defending my football club and yours that I love. You look at the wider structure. Obviously, for time, it was Kroenke versus Usmanov, and he was picking up the shares and all those things. Really, are you going to invest? I don't know if you can. He might have been the majority shareholder, but are you going to invest that much if you don't own all of it? There has been a correlation with us being a bit more ambitious. I use these terms and phrases very lightly, and them becoming full owners. It's a mixed bag, man. Why is Arteta reinventing certain players and still not progressing the club, turning a world-class CDM in Ras to an 8? I think it's working. And the left-back thing, I think that's what he wants to do. But I do, out of all the things he's done, Rice has definitely worked in the 8. Lewis Skelly definitely working at left-back. But I agree generally in that now it's like, obviously, I always give this example. This is the Premier League top trophy. Yeah? We're here. We've come all the way from here. And it feels like we've got here and we're fucking about. I feel all of that journey, you can reinvent, you can do all of those things. There's been some good stuff. There's been some bad things. Generally, we've got here. Now, I think we need to have the thought of, football's a simple game. Just get a striker who can score goals. If they can play all about the place, great. But let's just get the core principles, man. But wish we got a striker, but it is what it is, man. January told me everything I needed, man. To all the fans telling me signing Jesus was a better idea than convincing Balogun to stay, come out. It defo was. What? Happy with Jesus in that regard. It defo was. That's a gendering. Nelson and Vieira need time to be able to perform. Just can't give them 2 games and be well gelled with the team. It's true, but Nelson, you need to cut. Fabio Vieira, I can see if you just shut up, keep calm in preseason, I think you could be here. 37 goals in 91 matches in minutes in his last 3 seasons. Vlahovic is the worst transfer target to goal for out of all the forwards. DG's losing it watching Nketiah highlights. Bro, I've watched some mad players, bro. Yeah, I'm not perfect. This is what it does. Yeah, man. I was thinking myself like Nketiah weren't that bad. To be fair, I do think Nketiah was scapegoated, man, but it weren't the thing. Odegaard to hit 10 assists next season, DG. Define assists. Because some assists, yeah, you could talk about assists like he sets up a goal. What if he plays the pass that sets up the assist? What if he assists off the field? What define assist is? Football's a simple game, but it's also very, very complicated. Did you see Gabriel's interview talking about how he had interest from other teams like Napoli and then Edu phoned to save the day? Yeah, I did. I covered that at the beginning of this live stream. And it just shows, man, like Edu was crap, but big him up for that one. Big him up for that one. Who scores better goals, Sesko or Gyokeres? And is that a better thing to pay attention to since we don't expect the number to translate in this league? Reminds me of the Lacazette Aubameyang debate. I don't know about better goals. I want volume. I know goals aren't everything, and you can't look beyond Gyokeres. I have to be a villain, man. Define assist. Define assist, man. But the model is we only spend what we make, though. We don't spend into cash reserves. This is why, this is why I'm accepting of a lot. I accept how the Cronkies run the business and run their ship. I accept that Arteta just signed a new deal. I'm at acceptance stage. Like, and when it's not that it's right, but when you just accept and you can see the chessboard, you can maneuver in it. We need another Giroud. He wouldn't be bad in this. Not gonna lie, for Marmoush to leave the Bundesliga in Jan and still outscore Sesko is funny. What, we're not going to talk about the guy who's rocking up at Anfield either. DG, take a break and go on holiday if you start looking for Tomiyasu highlights. Bro, Tommy's my guy, man. A fit Tomiyasu, we're laughing. We want a striker, either Sesko or Gyokeres. It'd be great, man. It'd be great. Some Arsenal fans have Berta on fraud watch, but gave Eddie 4 years. I think it's a bit naive. Like, man are coming out and saying, I thought Berta was going to change things straight away. But everyone's allowed their thoughts in it. Like, as I always say, I ain't going to tell you what to think. Just think, man. Serious question, though, DG. If you was Arteta and you knew you wasn't going to bring in a striker, would you still have sold Eddie Nketiah in the summer? Eddie probably wanted to cut, and it was a good fee. Probably. But then I'm being a bit dishonest. Because if you're asking me with hindsight, I probably wouldn't have. But the peas, bro. And like, big up Eddie, won the FA Cup, but it's nice to have a decent sale, man. If the issue is experiencing goals, why don't we go for Lautaro Martinez? He's probably going to cost more than Gyokeres and obviously Sesko, and both of them are on leaving. I'm not gonna lie, I think he did, man. I think in January, I think in the summer we had too many chefs. I think he did. I think Arteta was begging in January. I think the club let down the fans, the players, and are based on January, Arteta, the summer. Because I'm not dissing Marino, I'm not dissing Calafiori. I actually like the addition of Calafiori. But I think in the summer, last summer, we was looking at it as Arsenal fans, like, a couple points off City. We get the striker, we do this, we do that. We're going up one level. We was fairly bullish. Didn't win the Champions League, didn't get embarrassed. Obviously, when we saw the market play out, we've all been there. I do think there was a remit of. I do think there was an air of complacency with certain players, or how we're looking at certain players. I do think there was incompetence. I do think there was an inability to pivot. Like, we're going for one target, and for one reason or another, it's not happening. And I also feel there was a remit to get some to sell some players, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, you can make a case of Eddie wanted to go off his own bat. Ramsdale was always going to be sold. There's another one I'm missing out. Emil Smith-Rowe. I think there was a remit to claw some back because there was a bit of spending. But then, and I'm being very naive, but I don't know, how much did Marino cost? Let's just say 30 million and what, Calafiori like 40. If you only had 80 odd, did you need another left back or a centre mid more than you needed a forward or a wide option? I'm not criticizing. I'm just asking the question. That's where I feel you have to control controllable sometimes. And this is why I'm at the point of everybody's to blame. Everybody gets praise. Everyone gets blame. If the window is something amazing, Berta, Arteta, everybody, even flipping Tim Lewis and Jason Ito, especially with Zubamendi, everyone pat on the back. If you look fuck about, everybody's catching corn. Simple as that now. Because I'm not a fly on the wall at London Coley. I don't know. I think some fans, depending on where you go, like some more of the Arteta apologists, they say things enough times to the point where you would genuinely think they were there. Like, so who knows? Nah, bro. Fans are sick and tired of excuses, and sub stories win now. There's no excuse. that this fan base hasn't heard. When is it going to end? Enough of the BS. Win the PL, get the top players. I hear it. I was happy with the Cala signing. We don't use him enough because of MLS rise. I'm happy with Calafiori. You need to stay fit. I do think there's a player there. There's definitely a lot of frustrations, but I fuck with him, man. I got time for him, man. I got time for him. On that note, though, man, we've been here for 2 hours. I've hung around like a bad smell. So I appreciate you lot for being here, talking, everything, people. And, you know, to get over 100 likes, over 200 likes, and to be just shy of 300 with 284. Ridiculous, man. So, yeah, big up yourselves. I'm back again at 6 p.m. Don't quote me. Saturday, I should have a fan show at 2 p.m. So, yeah, man, content, man. Appreciate you lot. Enjoy your Fridays. One love, man. In a bit, folks. Smash the like button on